Hit the go live. Check on the audio. Hello. Hit the go live. Check on the audio. Hello. It sounds okay. Sounds okay. How's everybody? Starting a few minutes early, letting some people gather. You might have seen the stream yesterday, last night, about 13 hours ago? No, too many. Minus 12. It'd be 12:57 in the morning, 3 more hours. Yeah, 15. 15 hours ago, I didn't say anything about a Faction War stream today. Well, you'd be right. Sigmar wills this. Thanks for the $5 lamb sauce. You'd be right. I wasn't planning on streaming this today. But our left side finished up, so our left side I was ready to stream whenever. And then I got sick, so I didn't go into work today. So I'm at home, and when I got a message that my last left side replay had come in, and I was home anyway, I'm like, you know what? We should just fucking slam this out. Let's do it. Let's do it. So what is this stream? Is it the whole Faction War, or is it live? What's going on? For anybody who doesn't know, when I host the Faction War, now that we're up to 24 factions in the game, I turn it into a bracket of 32. So nobody gets any buy rounds, and that's not lame and stuff. 32 players are hard to get together onto one day, and if you have 32 factions, you would need a fucking loud-ass train outside. 16 games, 8 games, 4 games, 2 games? I believe that's correct. Yes, so that's 24, 28, 30. We would need 30 games to get to the finals and then a best of 3. That is a lot to plan on one day. So what we do for organization's sake is I get the players together, create a bracket, and they play up until the top 4 offline. And then we do 3 streams total. Left side, right side, getting to the top 4, and the top 4 is live. This is the first stream. We'll be covering the round of 16 on the left side, all those names you see on the left. We'll get them all the way up to see who the top 2 is today. Hummus is playing Coast. Yes, I only answer this one more time. Father Ram and I qualified the same qualifier. We both got Skaven. That would have resulted in 3 Skaven in the bracket, which was lame. I talked to Father Ram, and I was very excited about the Vampire Coast changes. I've been playing a lot of Vampire Coast, and I said, hey bro, if you want to play Skaven, that is fine. I will go play Coast. He said that sounds good, so I'm playing Coast. It was to diversify the content, and Father Ram is a pretty good Skaven player, so I was not upset at all to let him have it. And can that train just fuck off? Alright. Hummus took the L? Never. Are the matchups random? No, I made them as best I could, and then asked people if they wanted a veto in round 1. Some of them took it, shifted it up, and then when everybody agreed the round 1 matchup isn't terrible, we went for it. So, yeah. Alright. Enough stalling. We are at 101, which is roughly when people were expecting this to go live, so might as well get started. Boop. It's me, the sick boy. Round 1. If you were not looking at the bracket, top left. Lucinia versus JMG, Ogres versus Khorne. Supply train, I bet? Yeah, probably supply train. Ogres versus Khorne. For Lucinia, we do have, looks like 2 Chaos Furies, both in the Vanguard. We had double Skull Cannon, which is interesting. Triple Minotaurs with great weapons, 2 Chaos Warriors with halberds, and then 4 Marauders regular. Valkyrie the Bloody up in the sky with the Spear Slopnir as their only special thingy. For the Ogres, we have the Powder Guts, Pistol ROR for the Man-Eaters, then Ogre Bowls and Iron Guts mixed throughout the front line, backed up by Man-Eaters with great weapons, 3 of them, a couple Noblars, but very few, and the Slaughtermaster the Great Maw with only Troll Guts. I like this little Noblar tech. you're just trying to reduce the amount of entities Khorne can kill and get any of their army passive, it seems fine. Man-Eater's trading with the Skull Cannon pretty effectively considering they're fighting a 2v1. Both Skull Cannons are shooting at them. An ethical Ogre build? Never. Skull Cannons still firing. Looks like the Minotaurs are chilling back for now, and the Chaos Warriors and Marauders are going to advance. Just get a little closer. At least harass these Man-Eaters if they're going to sit and shoot. Because the Skull Cannons have better range. So zoning the Ogres can be pretty good. Valkia's even diving onto the Powder Guts. I think she just wants to hold them up, because if they do turn around and try to fight her in melee, the Skull Cannons will have easier shots because they'll be all clumped up. So, bit of a bait, but they don't take it. Now Valkia needs to retreat as Iron Guts charge in after her, then just switch onto the Marauders of Khorne and slam into them. Not doing as much damage as you would think, but it looked hella impressive. The fight is now beginning in earnest. Ogres have made their way to the front line, and the Marauders are feeling it, Mr. Krabs. Oh boy, are they feeling it, Mr. Krabs. But Minos will countercharge, and they'll do pretty good work as long as they have support. Now that support is promptly leaving, which will be a big problem. Troll Guts is out for the Powder Guts, and both those Skull Cannons continuing to fire as I accidentally double-click, making my camera go silly. Furies have a flank, but I wonder how they're going to use it. They might want to use it as shock value for anybody that's going to rout, just to get them to rout, so maybe this corner could be good, but the center and the top fights are both going so well for the Ogres that the Furies really aren't going to get much done. Looks like instead they'll be used to fight the Powder Guts and these random Man-Eaters. The Man-Eaters is a better trade. The Powder Guts should kick the shit out of the Chaos Furies of Khorne, especially while they're getting healed. So overall, I don't think that's going to come too much, unfortunately, for Khorne. Halberds are joining the fight. The Halberds are going to be the real winners of this. While Minotaurs are the big sexy things to talk about because they're, you know, a bunch of gold and monstrous infantry, Ogres do have an okay time fighting the Minos. They really hate these fucking Halberds. Chaos Warriors of Khorne with their Halberds are real good at just churning through Ogres. Noblars decide to feed the Skull Cannon a little bit of regeneration and ammunition, which is great for that. One of our Furies is already fading away. The other one's peeling off of that Man-Eater fight to just start chasing some stuff off the map, deciding that their DPS really wasn't worth it. Valkia is in the mix with her Minos. There's still a metric shit ton of Ogres left, though the balance of power is in Khorne's favor, which is something you never want to see if you're fighting against Khorne. Balance power hates Khorne with a passion, so if they're winning, oof. And I could definitely see why. We still have some decently healthy Minos, very healthy Halberds, 2 Skull Cannons that are quite healthy, and Valkia is healthy. I don't put as much stock in the Skull Cannons being healthy as the game does. Like, these guys, if they get surrounded, could get massacred. But I do think these 2 Halberds being in the thick of it and being so healthy is very nice for Khorne. Mander Pistols are continuing to stand off and fire. Looks like they're shooting at the Minos, which is a great target. One of the Minotaurs is already routing. Another one is at a third-ish health. That one's also at a third-ish health. Man-Eaters continuing to fire. Now they're firing at those Minos who are out in the middle of nowhere. And what will we do about the Halberds? I honestly don't know. We don't have Bone Crusher, that giant Iron Fist spell. That can be a good one. You also don't have Lead Belchers or anything. I feel like this Ogre build overall was okay, but it did really struggle versus Halberds, and Khorne brought 2. Because on reflection, I don't know what you're going to do about him. Skull Cannons is a bit of a wild take. If Ogres had found the room for maybe 2 Lead Belchers somewhere, I think they could have been a little bit better. I don't know. Another Spear Slaupnir just trying to poke some Noblars and stuff. Not that she has much of a use for it anymore. I mean, almost all the Noblars are dead. Ogre Bull's chasing off Minos in the background. Balance power has really stabilized at that Khorne is favored, but not army losses state. And I would tend to agree. I haven't seen too much healing from the Ogres, so if they can get a Butcher off and a Troll Guts, this game could flip on its head. Like, imagine these 2 Man-Eaters just skyrocket back to full health. That would wildly change our perception of how this game is going. Halberds are getting whittled down slowly. One's at half health. The other one is getting pretty low. Ogre's going to rear charge this area. Kind of a limp charge, unfortunately, for them. The Ogres really do need healing, though. Whether they have army passive or something. Which it's hard to get the army passive off of Minos and such. I get that. But if they have it, would be welcome. Man-Eaters continue to scrap it out. Some of them are routing. And Valkia is very, very hard for the Ogres to take out. Her high-ish melee defense and infantry-sized model can be difficult for the Ogres to surround and really do good damage to. Ooh, but that is a full health Maneater. I don't know if he got a Butcher off screen or if he's just actually not been damaged this whole time, but that is brutal. If he can catch up to that Skull Cannon, they'll surround him and kill it pretty quickly. And Skull Cannons are demonic, so if you get them nice and low, they will spontaneously combust. Maneater's continuing to shoot at Valkia, it looks like. It could be a tough target for them to pull off. These Iron Guts are back here. Gotta wonder where the magic's going. These Maneaters may be beyond repair. 3 models on each of them, so healing them might not be worth it. Could heal the Powder Guts some more, maybe. Could heal these Iron Guts, maybe. It's all about model count. Oh yeah, those Maneaters got some form of healing. Look, their healing cap's already here. Another Troll Guts onto the pistols is what he decided for. Not a bad choice. Again, there's not a lot of models left on these Maneaters for you to heal up or anything. Slaughtermaster and his Iron Guts trying to fight Valkia, but a nasty Skull Cannon shot hits the whole unit, but kills off 2 models outright. Valkia is going to be able to finish off the Slaughtermaster, but the Skull Cannon is killed by the Maneaters. The balance of power keeps wiggling back and forth. Still overall in the Ogres are disfavored tree. Not terrible. Valkia misses another shot on the Slaughtermaster, and Maneaters are coming up the hill, and the Slaughtermaster just kind of waddles towards him like, hey boys, care to bail me out of this one? The Maneaters oblige, charging into Valkia. Some Noblars coming back for a little bit of support. Powder Guts still out here firing at Halberds. They'll get rear charged by the Skull Cannon, but they're not too super worried about that. Honestly, if they just turn and melee charge it, that would be good for them. We'll see. Bounce power still creeping back towards the middle. As things go a little worse for Khorne here and there. The Maneaters spending their time trying to kill Valkia is tough, though. Like I said, they're just not really that good at killing infantry-sized characters. Chaos Furies of Khorne diving in. Minos are back, and this is a big moment for Khorne as they pop a Horn of Khorne, giving everybody around here big stats. Everything is routing except for the Maneaters, and those guys get worked down very quickly while surrounded by Minos and Marauders and Valkia. In the distance, we have some Maneaters with great weapons coming back. Powder Guts retreating to get some better shots elsewhere as Ogre Bulls also file into the fight. Valkia is going to pursue the Slaughtermaster, make sure he cannot return. And the Maneaters actually holding their own. Despite the Horn of Khorne, they are taking some decent damage. I won't pretend they aren't. But they might get a chain rout on that side. It's still looking tough overall for our friends, the Ogres. Powder Guts get away one more time. Looks like they're still trying to kite out the Halberds. But I doubt their Lord is coming back in any capacity. These Maneaters, even if they win the fight, are going to be so attritioned out that I don't think the Ogres can do it. Are these best of 3s or best of 1s? Best of 1. Best of 1. What up, Lasenia? You're on the screen with your double Skull Cannons versus Ogres, you fucking bad man. Who the hell wants to play as Khorne in tourney? That's faction war. Every faction has to be represented. Taking a sip of my tea as a Skull Cannon gets a nasty shot on the Powder Guts and will end it. Pulling Khorne to a round 1 victory. Valkia did fine. Skull Cannons honestly both did really well, surprisingly. Minos did fine. Halberds did great. Marauders, mixed but overall pretty good. Furies, mixed but overall pretty good. For JMG, his Maneater pistols and his Maneater's great weapons overall did quite well. 1 Maneater got destroyed, but the rest did about what you need them to do. Iron Guts underperformed a little bit. Ogre Bulls performed pretty good, and Noblars performed pretty good as well. So GG. GG. Back to the Photoshop. Photoshop will be acting as our blocker for today as we update it. Slucinia and his Khorne advance. Choop. Make that a little bit bigger for y'all. Game 2, Norsca versus Kislev. Gotta go find that. Kislev versus Norsca. Yep, this is it. Bim bam boom. Is anyone surprised the Maneaters can't beat Minos? You know what, Samaric? I don't like you. We're not friends anymore. Kislev versus Norsca. Segos versus Raced. Raced originally wanted to qualify on Kislev. He got really far in a tournament, but someone got further than him on Kislev, so I offered him an empty spot because no one played Norsca, and he accepted. So he's here to try and get vengeance on the faction he actually wanted to play. For Raced and his Norsca. Oh, and a side note, in case you're like, I know who wins because the green team is Kislev. I believe I got... Well, I don't want to say an exact number, but I did get a number of replays from the losers to try and mix it up. When you have a replay stream, if everyone is just the green player is the one who wins, it's pretty easy to tell who wins. So, don't you worry about that. I got it covered. Anyway, we have Marauders, Marauder Champions across the front line. Marauder Hunters with axes. 1 Javelin, but 2 Axe Throwers in the back. Throg the Troll King for some regen. Shaman Sorcerer of Metal with Final Transmutation and Plague of Rust. Then we have the Beasts of Tashnar and a Norscan Ice Wolf for some mobility, 2 Skin Wolves, and actually a Troll. A single Norscan Ice Troll. Very thematic, though I think silly. I personally don't believe in trolls. I'm not a troll guy. On the other side for Kislev, we have 4 Horse Archers, a bunch of Armored Kossars, looks like 5 of them on the front line, then some regular Kossars in the back. 4 Kossovite Dervishes, Gestalten, a Frost Maiden of Ice with just her Spirit Leech type thing, Death Frost, and then an Incarnate Elemental of Beasts, Anti-Large, Mortis Engine, Unbreakable Duelist. Cool. Norscan Ice Wolves overextending a bit as Kossovite Dervishes get a downhill charge on them, and some Armored Kossars even supports these Ice Wolves will be retreating soon. Looks like Race will just pull them out rather than them full-on routing. And he will return. So Kislev will be happy once they get into range. Their pistols can all fire downhill at the encroaching Norskins, and they'll get decent damage out. Norsca just wants to get into that melee. Marauder Champions should be able to chew through Armored Kossars. Even though none of these guys have great weapons, it will take them a little longer. They do just have better stats than the Kossars. I mean, you'd hope so. They're Marauder Champions, for God's sakes. Basic Marauders will struggle a bit, but we'll see what these throwing axes are going to do, and the Monstrous Infantry. Norsca has much better mobility this game than Kislev. Kislev has 8 cavalry, but they're all chaff cav that, like, Skin Wolves, Beasts of Tashnar can do better at fighting. First Death Frost is out. It's onto our friend, the Shaman Sorcerer of Metal. With his tiny HP pool, he is a pretty good target. I mean, Throg has a bigger HP pool, and he'll just regenerate. I can appreciate why they moved that around. Marauder Champion's actually just slipping through the front line. Gonna go get to the Kossars, the lowly armored archer characters. That'll be a bad time for those little archer boys. And Throg has joined the fight as well. Incarnate Elemental Beast casually walking at him. Doom Incarnate is here, slaps Throg right away. Throg might want to back off of this battle. Kossovite Dervishes are diving the back line, though these Marauder Hunters have decent hybrid stats, so they should be able to withstand long enough for the Beasts of Tashnar and the Skin Wolves to rejoin the fight. In the distance, Norscan Ice Wolves sacrificing themselves to the 4 Skirmish Cavalry just to get rid of them, while Skin Wolves rear charge some Kossars. We'll get their Buyer Blood passive to proc. But want to look out. A rear charge from Kossovite Dervishes could do a decent amount of damage to the Skin Wolves with only 15 armor, so they will want to turn and face their captors. Throg got isolated. He got pushed away from the Marauder Champions just due to staggers and things like that. And yeah, now he's surrounded by random horsemen as they try to keep him in a fight with Gestalten and the Incarnate Elemental Beasts, who has fire damage versus Throg because of Gestalten. In the back line, Kislev is getting routed off, though their Buyer Blood passive is giving them a little bit more longevity than you'd expect, and Norsca is having trouble keeping their ranged units online. The frontline fight is going very well for Norsca, but Throg's taking a lot of damage. I'm curious if he can be finished off, but I think that's a Final Trans. Is it Overcast? Overcast Final Transmutation onto Gestalten and the Incarnate Elemental Beast. They're trying to counter heal it with a Lullaby. Oh no, but the Final Trans latched onto the Kossovite Dervishes, so as those guys rout, they're pulling it away from the main fight. Looks like Gestalten didn't really notice that's what was happening, so he's taking it with him, but damn. Another Death Frost is onto Throg this time, taking a lot of damage. Bounce power is still about dead even. I feel like Kislev's getting the better of things, though. Ooh, Beasts of Tashnar get a nice catch on their Horse Archers. They should be able to do quite well there. If Throg can survive the Lord Snipe, as the Incarnate Elemental Beast continues to stutter and T-pose, but if Throg can survive this fight, maybe Norsca have a chance? Maybe. A lot of the Kislev unit banners look the same to me, so sometimes I blur out on what's actually a good unit. Like, these Kossar Spears should be mulched by the Icehorn Marauders and the Frost Trolls. Armored Kossars will stand up a bit more. Throg is playing hard to get with Kislev and the Incarnate Elemental, running around as best he can. His heal cap's already within sight, though, as he takes some nasty shots. He does need to keep running away. Looks like he's just going to get stuck in for now. Beast Tashnar might have to join him. We do have throwing axes online. They are trying to throw at the Incarnate Elemental Beast, but there goes Throg. He just gets bodied by Kislev and the Incarnate. He's running for it. I don't foresee him coming back. Stalton's trying to get after him, but actually Stalton gets stuck in Marauders. Ooh. Yeah, Death Frost will kill him off, though. Rest in peace, Throg. Without that, the Kislevites should be able to win off of leadership bombs. Norsca's not the highest leadership faction in the game. There goes my hero. Watch these dogs rout too. Bounce power still about 50-50. A counter snipe onto the Frost Maiden of Ice. Maybe Norsca can kill off the Kislevite caster. And Kislev ain't looking so hot now that I look around the field. They have some light cavalry. It's very injured, but it exists. They have one heavy infantry. Incarnate Elemental, Kislev, and then their caster is about to die. Norsca, on the other hand, has some elite infantry, some regenerating monsters, including their ice trolls. And more regenerating monsters in the distance. Okay, alright. Shouldn't call it too soon. Frost Maiden of Ice is going to rout. If she shatters, that'd be nice, because then they don't have to worry about chasing her or anything. Chasing a foot character can take a long time. I do worry about Norsca blobbing up this much, because if the Incarnate comes and joins this fight, he'll be able to Mortis Engine all these things at the same time. Norscan Ice Trolls did manage to rally in the face of the Horse Archers, and they fight their way back into the battle. Norsca's rallying. Norsca's rallying pretty good. What are we sitting at? Dervishes, Horse Archers. More Horse Archers. They're shooting at Ice Trolls. The Ice Trolls probably have to charge back over here to get close to the Encourage aura of our friend, the Shaman Sorcerer, because right now they're just teetering so badly on leadership. They start to run away, which is smart. They just got to get their regen up. Skinwolves are going to come and bail them out, too. They eat men, not Minotaurs. Man-eaters? Yeah, got you. He can only Mortis large? Is that true? No, it affects all. What are you talking about? It's strong versus 15 men or above. Goji! Goji, are you trolling me, or is there something I don't understand here? Alright. Yeah, he's Mortis Engineering the Marauder Champions right now. You're a liar. How dare you? Trolls and Skinwolves charging back in. Their leadership is faltering, though. If these Horse Archers rear charge them right now, they would actually just rout entirely. Nice final transmutation, trying to save the day for Norsca. Is it overcast? Yes, it is, and nasty overcast damage on the Shaman Sorcerer Metal, so that is pretty bad. As the Skinwolves and the Trolls all start routing, everybody is leaving the fight, including our friend, the Shaman Sorcerer. We just have some Marauders and Marauder Champions actually trying to hold the game together. But that's a lot of Kislevite Horsemen that are going to chase these guys off the map. And if they do so, I don't see how Kislev can win. I mean, I don't see how Norsca can win, my bad. Skinwolves rally in their face! Hey, Skinwolves rally in their face! Let's go! Let's fucking go. I have not seen any of these games ahead of time. I just saved the replays. Ah, those Skinwolves get run down. But we're back at a stalemate. Norsca rallying around their Shaman. Still trying to get their Skinwolves back, regenerating a little bit more. Norscan Ice Trolls do shatter. Skinwolves also shatter, though. Kislev just resets up. Does Stalton even have any healing left? Oh, he still has one. That's looking pretty doomed. Unless there's another final transmutation overcast. This is looking pretty bad. Norsca's starting to shatter. Skinwolves trying to buy time, and they get a downhill charge. They get a nice isolation on the two large targets that they want, and now Marauder Champions are closing in. There's another final transmutation, but Army losses hits before it lands? Yeah, okay. Okay. Incarnate did great. Kislev did pretty well. Deathcaster also did fine. I mean, Icecaster used death magic, whatever. It's fine. Kislevite Horse Archers actually did really nicely. So did the Dervishes, so really good cav play there, and the Infantry of Kislev held. For Raced, Throg really struggled. He just got hunted the entire game, but his Shaman Sorcerer of Metal did fantastically. Marauder Champions did pretty well. Skinwolves and Ice Trolls did fine. Dogs did okay. Ranged units really struggled except for one of them. They just got shut down by all the Kosovites. So, Kislev will advance. Boop. Yeah, I can make that a little bigger. A little bigger. There you go. Alright, I'm looking for Ian Zero and Father Ramram. That is them. Oh, and further warning. I have not... Yeah, I did mention it in the game, but I have not seen any of these replays. Father Ramsey with the motherfucking Gorich versus Ian Zero. And Kugat Plaguefather. No slingers, no warp lightning cannon. Father Ramsey, not Ramses. What are you doing? What are you doing? What Skaven unit do we always take into Nurgle? Say it with me now. Skaven Slave Slingers. Why is that? They're 200 gold, and they can more than double their pay by even just throwing at Nurglings. But if Kugath exists, you're going to be real happy you have them. I hate this. I hate this build. I hate this. Is it the worst build in the world? No. No. I think it is very... I am very scared if the enemy takes Kugath. And he took him. They took Kugath. Why did you do this? Why did you do this to yourself? No! My precious Skaven. Alright. This one's a cursed matchup? What are you talking about? Nurgle Skaven is fine. Nurgle Skaven is fine. I might even say it's Skaven favored. Unless you were saying it's cursed for Nurgle. I'd be more on that side of things, but still. I think Nurgle has teeth, but I think Skaven also have teeth in this matchup. 4 Chaos Warhounds of Poisons, 4 Chaos Furies. We have a whole bunch of Plague Toads, one of which is the Pox Rider of Nurgle Arwar, the Barons of the Bog, 4 Nurglings, and Kugath Plaguefather. He took Stream of Corruption and Fleshy Abundance. Alright. On the other side, for Skaven, we have a whole bunch of Clan Rats and Skaven Slave Spears, 3 Poisonman Globes, Gorich, a Packmaster, Lord Skrulk, and 4 Rat Ogres. Nurgle has no chance if Skaven's bring a good build. Oh, okay. Nurgle can do some mobility spam that's decently hard to deal with, but, I mean, Nurgle doesn't have a lot of great matchups, so it's hard to find them. Front lines are about to collide. Globes do need to stop and throw as the Nurglings get up here. Packmaster and Gorge also a little lost in the sauce, and the Globes are now going to back off, realizing they advanced a little too closely with their front line. The Barons of the Bog are here. Globes do need to find a place to stop and throw, but the Skaven are entirely surrounded as all these dogs and Furies are licking their lips at the prospect of getting onto those Globes. Globes throw. Nice and quick. Get a good little volley out, dealing decent damage, but their time is at an end. Dogs and Furies dive in. Rat Ogres will counter dive, and Skrull gets off a beautiful Rod of Corruption onto 4 units, getting some of them Demonic Instability Crumble even. Gorge has to find something to do. Meanwhile, Kugath is slowly eking his way over here, as the Globes are already starting to rout. One of them up there is about to go. The Skaven are in mass exodus. A lot of their front line is leaving, though Nurgle's not having an amazing time either. A lot of their Nurglings are passing out. Furies also getting close to fading. Gorge trying to join the frontline fight with these Plague Toads, who are disrupting the last of the 3 Globes. And Dogs trying to whittle their way through, but Poison Globes do have 100 armor, which can be difficult as these Rat Ogres are so close to routing, but just not quite. And Kugath continues to lumber forward. He will get here someday, my friends. Someday. For the Rat Ogres of the Skaven, they're doing fine. The ones that are near the Packmaster are healing up a little bit. Nurgle is falling behind in the balance of power. A lot of his stuff is just Demonic Instability crumbling. And Kugath not being here with the rest of them. I mean, not that they could afford to just sit around and wait for Kugath to get here, but Kugath's not an amazing lord for this matchup, unfortunately. I see a lot more of Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle with just Rancid Visitations, and then he just Rancid Visitations your Lord to death. It's cheaper, it's more effective. You can pair him with your charge, and then you have more money to use on other parts of your charge. Baird's the Bog getting globed at the moment. Kugath's trying to shut down that last Globadier. No, there's another one here, but his summoned Nurglings can also take it down. Gorch is fighting next to the Packmaster. We have a bit of a monster mash over in this corner. Honestly, I don't know who the globes would favor throwing in here. They might do as much damage to their own guys as the enemy at this point. Can the Skaven kill Kugath, though? That's the big question. Without a lot of range units left alive. Nasty Stream of Corruption kills off some Clan Rats for those Nurglings. This game is so political. No. No. I've seen some theory-crafted Nurgle versus Skaven builds that look pretty scary. Patrick. You'd have to ask Lenorm about it. Lenorm was sending me some pretty good ones. Packmaster, Gorch, and Skrull continuing to fight. Now, some of these Clan Rats you see are summons. So, all may not be as it seems. And Nurglings are continuing to chase. We have some dogs coming back to also help chase off these globes. And Nurgle's doing pretty well on the comeback. Skrull throws out his second Rod of Corruption to kill off these Nurglings, which he will. And Skrull is a great answer to demons, by the way. He has Contaminated for -10 leadership. He does magic damage, and then he has Rod of Corruption, which can clear them out. So he is a great choice in the matchup. I really did like Skrull. I wanted some goddamn slingers, though. Can we get some close-ups? Yeah, fine. Rat Ogres fighting random-ass toads as they fade away. Goodbye, toads. Goodbye. And Kugath's just trying to get into the party. He wants to get into the fight. I don't know if he wants to fight Skrulk and a Packmaster and Gorch all by himself. This might be a little overbold, my friend. Without any support. He has dogs chasing some stuff off and Nurglings elsewhere, but he's going a little ham. I guess he was using an infested Nurgling summon to try and get himself out of here. And now Gorch and the Packmaster actually just fucking left Skrulk to die. Oh. Okay. Skrull's gonna chuck out a summon, try and save himself back off. I'm not sure how much his summon's gonna do. Yeah, already they're gonna tear her out. And Kugat's still after him. And no one's coming to help poor Skrulk! Somebody help Skrulk! Here come the Molder units. And we have some dogs for Nurgle in the distance that do need to rejoin the fight. As now Kugath has to fight the Molder monsters alone. Stand your ground is popped from Skrulk, giving the Packmaster some impressive stats, but more importantly, just gives him leadership. Kugath continues to fight it out. These dogs, all these dogs have to come back. And these Furies too. Ugh, the dreaded tactical reserves for Nurgle really hurting them in this fight. Gorch is doing some good spins. He's fighting Kugath, doing good with the Plague, the Packmasters, but if we had some dog full surrounds, that'd be nasty. Kugath is a nasty duelist, as we all know, as he's continuing to fight Gorch. Hasn't managed to hit him for a while yet, and fighting next to the Packmaster, Gorch is going to get some regen, which will be rather annoying for Kugath to deal with. Some dogs are reactivating. Looks like they're going to go chase Skaven slaves and Clan Rats and such. Can we get these Furies at these dogs? Skrulk's back in the fight for now. Kugath's still chilling. He's completely fine with what's going on. Something is getting cast. What the hell's that? Wither. Oh, reduces his armor. Rat Ogres are pushed off just due to terror route shenanigans. The last of Kugath's summons is here to try to save him. Hey, can we get the fucking dogs back, please? Somebody! Alright, everything on the field for the Skaven is dead and gone. Nurgle player, just select all of your units and come here! Please! Kugath's getting pushed around. He is contaminated, so his leadership is down a bit. Mortis Engine is affecting these Rat Ogres pretty good. The infested Nurglings, oof, Gorch does a nasty spin in them. So far, I still think Nurgle can win this game. He just needs to bring all of his units back. Please! Please bring your units back! Alright, I mean, Kugath, Plaguefather's Oration, tries to stay in it. His Mortis Engine's affecting 2 different Rat Ogres at once, so he could rout them off. Kugath is taking a lot of damage. We could use some boys. There we go. We're getting some of the boys. We're getting some of the lads. They're all coming back now, but they're still just standing off. Now one of the dogs is going to charge in. Skrulk gets another Clan Rat summon out, try to deter some of the dogs from joining here. We know Gorch's spin is on cooldown, because we just saw it into the Nurglings, and the Chaos Warhounds are already fucking off. They're going to terror out from Gorch, I guess. Some Shattered Rat Ogres getting chased by the Chaos Warhounds, and Kugath must have healed himself while we weren't looking, because he's back to full HP. Maybe the Nurgle player went for a break. Skrulk, how many summons do you have left? Do you have any? No summons left, and this Rat Ogre is just about toast. We have a lot of dogs left, some Nurglings, some Chaos Furies, and Kugath is still alone. I feel like he hasn't been swinging very much. It's about sending a message. Blessed with Filth is popped on everybody. Dogs charge in. Rod of Corruption is going to hit them all, so they'll want to back off after popping that. And Gorge gets a nasty, gigantic hit into them. Chaos Fury is going to chase off the Rat Ogres for now, so those guys will not be returning. And Skrulk's last summon fades away. It is officially 3 Skaven versus Kugath and some dogs. No more Rods of Corruption for Skrulk. He has used them all. He's used all of his Liber Bubonicus's. So Nurgle should be okay there. Nurglings are coming. Kugath continues to fight. It's hard to tell if he's just not dealt any damage to Gorge at all, or if the Packmaster's slower generation has been helping. His healing cap appears. Dogs are coming. They might try and go for Skrulk, it looks like. And I bet he's going to pop a Stand Your Ground here, yeah, and that makes his melee defense way too high for these dogs. The dogs are taking a lot of damage from something. I don't know what it is, but whenever they charge in, they just take a giant chunk. As Gorge continues to slap Kugath in the face. Kugath's just not really getting damage back on him somehow. Another Fleshy Abundance for the Plague Father, healing himself up. He's going to officially heal cap now. I wonder if we've had Fleshy Abundance for Nurgle. The tier 2 army ability or something. There, he gets a good shot onto Gorge. I'm going to fast forward. Nobody minds. Wither on everybody. Some dogs thinking about coming back, but they're just going to chase off Rat Ogres, leaving Kugath to his own devices. Packmaster's heal cap is here. Packmaster's heal capped. Skrulk has no healing, so he's just naturally that low. As some Furies join the fight, Kugath continues to battle. Dogs are thinking about running. Kugath's down to half HP and falling. Nurgling's also thinking about disintegrating. And Skrulk is now the one maybe getting sniped. He's running around. He's trying to stay away. Gorge still hasn't taken very much damage, and he's now recharging Kugath. Man, Kugath is just not having a great time here. Gorge tries to stop those dogs. Skrulk is actually going to rout. Bounce power is still an army loss territory for Nurgle, though, and there it goes. GG. That was weird. Kugath was getting a ton of value, but it didn't look like he was ever hitting anything. Swinging is really more of a slash thing. Fair. That is why in this matchup I tend to favor Rancid Visitations over healing, because, like, I don't know. He could have deleted Skrulk very early on in all that silliness and still used the tier 2 army ability, Fecundity, to heal himself up. Gorich, an impressive 3,600 value. Packmaster, 1,800. Skrulk, 1,600. Rat Ogres did well. Globes, none of them paid for themselves. And then Clan Rats and Skaven Slaves did okay. Another side for Ian 0. 5,300 on Kugat. Toads did not pay for themselves. Furies, mixed overall, not great. Nurglings, mixed overall, fine. And dogs, mixed overall, good. ER. Skaven will advance, though I was very nervous. I was very nervous on seeing that build. I'm shocked Gorich managed to beat Kugat. There we go. Clicked on the wrong tab to get down here. Skaven advance. For now. Alrighty. What was I doing? Where are we going? Chaos Dwarves versus Empire? No. Robo-Rat, so is all Nurgle weaklings. Oi! What do we got here? Ugh. Chaos Dwarves versus Empire is actually a pretty interesting matchup. Chaos Dwarves don't just get murdered by war wagons necessarily, because you can have armor-piercing long range. Ooh, an Infernal Guard Fireglaves, which he brought. Nice. This is Qualiduck versus Blood Penguin. I'm being pinged. Why? Okay. On the other side, for the Chaos Dwarves, 2 Deathstreaker rocket launchers, 2 Infernal Guard with Fireglaves. We do have a Sorcerer Prophet of Fire with Burning Head and Cascading Fire Cloak. 1 Bull Centaur Render with Great Weapons, 2 Infernal Guard melee variant, and then Orcs and Goblins across the front line. For the Empire, we have 1 Outrider, 2 War Wagons, 1 Mortar, a front line of State Troops, Spearmen and Swordsmen alike, Empire Knights, Demigrant Knights with Halberds, Karl Franz in the sky, and a Jade Wizard. So very little range from the Empire, considering it's the Empire. Like no Huntsmen, no Handgunners, nothing like that. Deathstreaker rocket launchers trying to home in on Franz and damage him. I wonder if the War Wagons would be an easier target. And that's not like passive-aggressive speculation. That is like, I actually wonder. I haven't seen this matchup a ton. So I wonder how good Deathstreakers even are at hitting a flying target that's actively trying to dodge. Last time he was trying to dodge 1 hit anyway. This time he's trying to dodge both hit. Wow. All right, they're tracking him pretty good. Nice, nice. Is this white line camping? I don't know. I don't think so. That seems pretty far away. Like, it might be close, but I don't know. None of the players brought it up to me beforehand, so we're not going to go back in time and redo a bunch of games based on a maybe. Franz taking a good amount of damage from these Deathstreakers. These guys are keeping him honest. And the War Wagons are having a tough time finding a spot to get up here. Though I also worry what is keeping the Deathstreakers safe from the War Wagons is the hill, but also the Infernal Guard can't see shit on this hill. So it kind of goes both ways. That it's keeping them safe, but it's also stopping the Infernal Guard from doing anything. Like, see, these guys have been in range of the Infernal Guard forever, and they haven't fired a single shot because they can't see shit. Which is really frustrating. Like, it makes sense, but it sometimes can be hard to tell what elevation is when you're in-game, because you have to kind of zoom in like this to tell that it's a hill, and most players are playing from, like, here. All right, Burning Head goes down the line, and it curves massively inward for the Chaos Dwarves, deleting one of their own Orc Laborers. Just missing these Goblin Laborers, and then it goes into other Orc Laborers, hits all of them, and routes off some units. Started here, then went inwards, and hit... It somehow missed that Goblin, who just routed on his own, but wow. That was ouchies. Meanwhile, Karl Franz is beating the piss out of the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire. Buffed up by Regrowth, Galmaraz, Standard Ground, and Reikland Runefang. He is a monster. And he just kills. He just straight up kills the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire, who I think was trying to finish off Franz, who was rather injured from all those Deathstreaker rocket launchers. But the War Wagons underneath, the Outriders on the side, were also helping out, so the Sorcerer Prophet just gets deleted. The Goblin and Orc Laborer frontline is getting pushed back, and these Infernal Guard Fireglaves have not had any fun. They haven't gotten to shoot at all because of their positioning on the hill. They can't see over the hump of the hill, so they didn't get to act as a ranged unit. Deathstreaker rocket launchers did really, really well. But outside of that, brutal. That Burning Head, major value. Lore accurate Chorps. I don't know if it's the reason they lost the game. The Infernal Guard not being able to see for most of the game was really brutal. And as we saw, the Goblin Laborers routed even though the Burning Head didn't hit them. Laborer front lines just route very, very quickly. In general. So. Alright, Mortar's still firing in from the Empire. Bounce power is close to army losses as both Infernal Guards are routing. Deathstreaker rocket launchers are also routing. And so far, only the Infernal Guard are still standing. But with Outriders, War Wagons, with tons of ammo, I think they'll be able to whittle down those Infernal Guard over time. It was one of the two. There was a second one. with the Burning Head. The Burning Head did, like, kill 2 of his Orc Laborers. That was fucking brutal. Burning Head's such a wild spell. I was positioned bad down the hill. Yeah. Hills are tricky. Because range units also are really, really finicky about what they can and can't see. So it's hard to tell. Franz got 2,000 value in a brief... Most of the game he's just running from Death Shriek or Rocket Launcher, so the fact that he got 2,000 value at all is really insane for how much he must have done to that Sorcerer Prophet. War Wagons did almost nothing. Damage Knights with Halberds did amazingly well. Outriders and Empire Knights did fine. And Empire State Troops did fine. On the other side for Qualaduck, his Lord got 229 value. Death Shriekers both did pretty well. Infernal Guard, as we all mentioned, had a hard time seeing anything. And then his melee Infernal Guard ended the game with full health. Like, what the fuck? We didn't get to do no fighting. What are y'all doing breaking? Get back here. You gets. I guess that's closer to Greenskins, but I don't know how to do a Chaos Dwarf. I don't have the pipes for that kind of thing, especially when I'm feeling a little sick. Just feeling run down and shitty. Alright, Empire advances. Blood Penguin and Koala Duck both told me they wanted to avoid Skaven, because I gave one of them Skaven round 1. And they were like, hey, can we not do that? And I'm like, oh, sure, dude. So I got them to fight each other, and then Father Ramram wins, so now they have to fight Skaven anyway. Ah, she-ball. Well, we tried. What's next? Wheelgriff and Razel. I'm looking for Beastmen and Demons of Chaos. Wheelgriff, what the hell am I looking at? Okay, alright, okay, sure. No, okay. It's fine. What up, Rona? How's your book reading, Human Boy? It's good, it's good. I'm reading the... It's Razel versus Wheelgriff, by the way. I'm reading the... War of the Beard, that's what it is. War of Vengeance, whatever. It's alright. It's alright. I learned that the dwarves are kind of assholes. Like, it's really funny. Quick lore bit, then I'll cast the game while you all look at whatever the hell this is. I love how so far, like being objective, so far the elves have done nothing wrong. And the dwarves are like, I don't know about these elves. And like an elf shows up on a dragon to help out a dwarf who just recently lost a fight to Skaven, so half his hand is missing, he's bleeding, he looks like shit, and he's wandering around the middle of nowhere. An elf lands on a dragon, and he's like, I see you are hurt, do you require help? And then the dwarf's like, you can go to hell, you piece of shit. And then when he gets back to his hold, he's like, some elf offered me a ride home because he was worried about my safety. And all the other dwarves are like, we should kill them. I'm like, god damn. I know Malekith set this up to be like the War of the Beard, but that hasn't happened yet, and already the dwarves are like, let's fucking kill him over nothing. It's so funny. Okay. What do we got? For Razel versus Wheelgriff, I'll cast the Demons of Chaos because they're much more clustered. We have Nurglings, including the ROR Nurglings, a bunch of Plague Bearers. We have a Herald of Khorne. I see what this is. He wants the Herald of Khorne to be in the middle of all these guys to give them a bunch of buffs. He wants to give this whole thing a bunch of melee buffs. That's hilarious. Then he has Tool Soul Grinders of Slanesh and a Plague Ridden of Nurgle with Rancid Visitations, Fleshy Abundance, and Stream of Corruption. Okay, so the Fleshy Abundance he could overcast and hit this entire blob. I kind of get it. I don't know why you have Rancid Visitations and Fleshy Abundance. You're not going to be able to cast both of them. For the Beastmen, we do have a whole bunch of Archers, Centaurs with Throwing Axes, a front line of Zongors, Ungors, more Centaurs on the side, and then we have Malagor Dark Omen overhead with Pendulum, Enfeebling Foe, and Flock of Doom. But immediately the plan was thrown out the window as the Herald of Khorne and his Soul Grinders sally forth into the enemy army, leaving all of their Plague Bearers without those stats I was just talking about, so never mind, I don't know what the fucking plan is, I just work here. Locus of Virulence, what does that even do? Plus 24 melee attack. Oh, so he's buffing up these guys further. The Plague Bear's rocking 54 melee attack. God damn. But a Pendulum's gonna come through, tearing some of these guys apart, but Nurgle has such high health stats, it amounts to nothing. Meanwhile, Centaur's surrounding the Soul Grinder of Slaanesh, actually kind of whooping its ass for not having great weapons, and throwing axes are doing a lot of damage to it. The Herald of Khorne returns to his forces, trying to offer them a bit of support. The Totems of Endless Bloodletting and such. But that Soul Grinder of Slaanesh is entirely dead. These throwing axes and Centaurs are messing him up something fierce. Malagor somehow gets caught on the ground. The Soul Grinder of Slaanesh trying to fight him, but somehow walks through him. What a great and perfect unit. Other Soul Grinder of Slaanesh is already fading away entirely. Soul Grinder walks through him yet again. What a great unit, ladies and gentlemen. All right, it finally gets a swing off onto Malagor. Maybe it'll do some decent damage now. It misses the next attack. All right, killing it. Fleshy Abundance trying to keep the Soul Grinder in the fight as a whole bunch of archers and throwing axes try and whittle him down. Fleshy Abundance cannot out-heal the likes of Demonic Instability, or can it? He starts to rally. Oh, and he rallies. That's a pog. Balance power is about 50-50 as a Flock of Doom hits so many Nurgle units, it's insane. Downhill charge from some Centaurs just plows into the Nurglings and Plague Bearers, though they're insane mass and HP and all that stuff keeps them relatively safe. And Soul Grinder plus the Herald of Khorne still trying to stop these archers as Razel's throwing axes have like the best day of their entire lives. Throwing axes were born for this. They're like, oh, okay, we'll just sit here and throw then. High Elves did nothing wrong. Do you require an elf? No. Alright. Soul Grinder of Slaanesh, just about Demonic Instability crumbling. There it goes. So it's gone. The Herald of Khorne is still chilling. Honestly, the Plague Ridden is also chilling. And Nurgle's infantry are doing well when they get a fight. The problem is going to be all these archers and throwing axes, as it has been the whole time. The Herald of Khorne, before our very eyes, starts to disintegrate away under the whittling fire of so many foes. Malagor's even just falling around for gits and shiggles. Oh, did he take Malagor for that thing? Does he have the -4 leadership aura? No, he didn't bring the -4 leadership aura. Interesting. I thought he would have done that to further increase Demonic Instability crumbling. Herald of Khorne is just about toast. And without him, there go the chances for Demons of Chaos in this battle. Because without him, this Plague Ridden will disintegrate, so will that one. Sorry, the Plague Bearers. Plague Bearers will disintegrate, some of these Nurglings will disintegrate. And soon it'll be just this guy. Just this lonely Plague Ridden of Nurgle. He's even on his throne? Why is he on his throne? His throne does nothing. It's like a corpse cart, but it provides no area of effect buffs. It just sucks. I hate the Plague Ridden's throne. The Nurgle thrones in general just don't do anything. Everything's disintegrating away, and there's army losses. His axes just hit this guy in his poor little face. I really liked the Demons of Chaos plan. That was hilarious. It didn't work, but it was hilarious. They were countered by the same thing that's always countered them. Ranged units existing. For Razel, not a whole lot to say. He had a good build. He played it well. Yeah, a lot of ranged units versus Demons of Chaos will usually pay off. GG's. GG's, GG's. Dude, I love the Demons of Chaos. They're so funny. They're quickly becoming one of my favorite factions. They're still really bad, but they're funny. What am I looking for next? Warriors of Chaos and Greenskins, huh? Oh, I can probably do that. Greenskins, Warriors of Chaos. Is this them? Yes. Okay. That's a build. Nalnish / Borgash versus Sergroot. We have 2 Skull Crushers of Khorne on a Warriors of Chaos army. Kind of surprised we're not seeing a Mutalith Vortex Beast on the Warriors of Chaos army. That could actually be pretty good versus Greenskins. Alrighty, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? 2 Marauder Horsemen throwing axes, 2 Skull Crushers of Khorne, a whole bunch of Marauders, and Chaos Warriors with Halberds. 5 Chaos Warriors with Halberds. Chaos Sorcerer of Tzeentch with blue and pink fire, and then Valkia the Bloody with Spear, Sleipnir, and Demon Shield. For the Greenskins, the boys, the Gits, we have 2 Night Goblins with their spinning loons in the front line, paired with 3 regular goblins, 4 squigs, a bunch of trolls, including the Swamp Things and another stone troll. No, it's just 2 trolls. Okay, I thought some of these Orc Boar Biggins were stone trolls. 2 Orc Boar Biggins, regular, 1 Broken Tusk Mob, ROR, and a Morgoth's Banshee Marauders, the Regiment of Renown Wolf Riders. Then we have 3 Orc Aura Boys and Wurzag, the Great Green Prophet with Here We Go, Brainburster, and Effigy at the Git. Did it train against the Mutolith and just melts against 3 archers? Wow. Brutal. Blue Fire's coming for Wurzag. Takes a bit of damage there. These Orc Boar Biggins are trying to just keep those throwing axes on us, though they are going to get kited in throwing axes, so just throw at them. Ooh, Valky's even going to dive in. Spinning Loon's doing good damage versus Skull Crushers of Khorne, which, ooh, I didn't even notice the Skull Crushers were just charging into the front line. Okay. I am worried about these Chaos Warriors with Halberds, though. Those are brutal against all these trolls. They should do pretty good value, though. I suppose with the Spinning Loons and Wurzag's buffs, they might get chewed through. Stone Trolls with 88 melee attack from Here We Go, plus the Bonewood Staff, and I imagine there's a Wah coming up soon if my timing is about correct. Which could get a little insane. Boom, there's the Wah! Wurzag takes another Blue Fire. It is a limited amount of time before he's just dead outright. Not a lot he can do about that. Stone Trolls with 100 melee attack should be plowing through those halberds. Meanwhile, the Orc Boar Biggins somehow catching up to the Skirmish Cav. Might have been a whoopsie there, might have been charge bonus shenanigans, not really sure. But both the Skirmish Cav are in deep trouble. Pink Fire plus a charge from the Tzeentch Sorcerer trying to stop the Orc Aura Boys, but does very little damage against them as they continue to fire in. Chaos looking in dire straits. Some of their halberds are routing. Skull Crushers aren't looking so hot either. And their Skirmish Cav is offline. Valkia goes for a snipe onto Wurzag. Can he effigy to get her and run away? Looks like so far he hasn't noticed he's in trouble just yet. Fights back a little bit with his axe. And starts to run away with Effigy to get... Maybe the Swamp Things will try and surround her. She takes off immediately. Okay, never mind. I guess that's just not how we do things. Broken Tusk Mob probably have to get active. They could surround the Chaos Sorcerer of Tzeentch and whoop his ass. Morgan's Major Marauders moving up to poke at Valky a little bit more, while Archers focus most of their time on the Chaos Warriors with Halberds. Even though they don't have armor-piercing missiles, they are just trying to whittle those guys down over time. Orc Boar Biggins do catch the Chaos Sorcerer of Tzeentch. Will surround him pretty soon here. And do nice damage to him. Especially if the second Wah is about to pop, which it should be. They've been fighting for a while, and I haven't seen the second Wah yet, so... Wurzag might throw an Here We Go onto him. Might, especially as they have Marauders and Throwing Axes coming with. He needs them to do their job, and quickly. So we either need the second Wah or some form of spell to give these guys a little bit more melee attack as they're trying to get through that tanky Disccaster. Another Spinning Loon hits the Chaos Warrior Halberds. Skull Crushers of Khorne coming back for a second charge. Looks like they are aiming for the Swamp Things. And somehow the Chaos Sorcerer of Tzeentch gets out of the Boar Boys, and a downhill charge from the Skull Crushers will mean the death of these Orc Boar Biggins unless they get out of here, which they are trying to. Nice micro there. Archer line could be contested by the Skull Crushers, but no, they're just going to sandwich in the Orc Boar Boy Biggins. And what a bad time to be riding a boar. Oh. Half HP in the blink of an eye, still falling, but the Broken Tusk Mob get a countercharge. Archers are still firing in, and Greenskins are ahead on the balance of power. Swamp Things are nearby, not doing great on health. Their leadership might falter. Can the Skull Crushers hold on? Or will the Greenskin leadership falter as Wurzag gets Blue Fire sniped, and Valkia is back on him once again. Some Halberds trying to stop these Archers from firing. Balance power creeps a little back towards the center for the Warriors of Chaos. One Skull Crusher is pretty much doomed and pushed out, while these Marauders and the other Skull Crusher continue to fight. Marauder Horseman throwing X is probably a little too close to the melee fight. Want to back off and use that ammunition they have. Valkia continues to follow Wurzag around, having real trouble sticking onto him. But a Spear Sloupnir is going to take out the Orc Aura Boys, doing almost as much damage, if not more, to the Marauder Horseman throwing axes. Some brutal friendly fire there as Valkia does not care from where the blood flows. She just cares that it does. Wurzag takes another Blue Fire. Chaos Sorcerer of Tzeentch is watching him hungrily. There's the second Wah we were talking about, allowing the Greenskins to win this final real fight. As things are getting more and more tattered, it looks like Chaos is about doomed. Their last chance is probably, if they can somehow, maybe, and probably kill Wurzag, they could prey on the weakness of the Greenskins' leadership. But enough of these units are healthy enough, they probably wouldn't just rout with Wurzag dead anyway. And Chaos has nothing left in the tank. They got nothing. 2 more Blue Fires and Wurzag is dead. But they don't have 2 Blue Fires worth of time left. Unless he stops in the middle of them. That could do it. Boom! Big hit from Valkia and the Chaos Sorcerer. Wurzag almost route, starts to run for it. Orc Boarboy Biggins are going to surround Valkia and her friend, and oof, with a Here We Go, that'll give them a ton of melee attack. They shouldn't have any issues getting through those guys. Warriors of Chaos routing across the entire field, and it's all Ogre. From Whence the Blood Flows is an 80s movie? I don't know. How old do you think I am? 21 years old. I don't know shit. I was born in the year 2007. Ugh. 2007. Graduated high school 2028. Borgash, it was an honorable attempt. Your Skull Crushers really failed you. Your Blue Fire and Pink Fire Caster did great. Chaos Warriors with Halberds, mixed, overall fine. Modern Horse with Throwing Axes also struggled a bit. For Sir Groot, Wurzag did amazingly, and I think he is the best Lord ever created ever, and if you don't think that, you are incorrect. My opinion is the only one that matters. Orc Boarboy Biggins and his Trolls did great. His Archers did fine. Squigs mostly got crumped. Goblins mostly got crumped, but that's kind of their job, and the Fanatics did well. GG's. Green loses, but green wins. I told you not all of them are the replay sender one. I tried. Tried to mix it up. Okay. That's not even. Neither is this though. So do we really want to start being even? Yeah, sure, fine. What am I looking for next? Altharian Shades and Nurgle's PA. Okay. So you had Greenskins Warriors of Chaos. I can delete that. It's not on my list. There it is. There it is. This is a faction war? No. Hummus is 63. That is actually the most correct thing I've heard all day. Alright, Arcticade's Nurgle's PA and Altharian Shades. Going at it. Dark Elves versus Dwarves. A matchup that I really don't know how to peg. It feels like the Dark Elves would be favored with a whole bunch of armor-piercing arrows and stuff, but then Thork exists, and Dwarves are hardy people. And both players acknowledged it was a fine matchup, so I would just let it go. For the Dwarves, we have Bugman's Rangers. Looks like 3 of those were generating Dwarves. Miners with blasting charges across the front line, mixed in with Longbeards. Dwarf Warriors, more Longbeards on the side, so a lot of infantry for the Dwarves. Thork Ironbrow on his Anvil of Doom. And 1 Gyrocopter with a Brimstone gun. The other side for the Dark Elves, we have 4 Shades. Count them, 4 Shades. 2 Harpies up there, Bleak Swords, Witch Elves, Dread Spears? No, just Bleak Swords and Witch Elves. More Harpies on the back, and we do, of course, have the Spring Sorceress of Dark with Soul Stealer on her dragon. Bugman's Rangers are already starting the fight, starting to fire out as Dwarf Warriors are chasing around Shades, who are currently just kiting, looking for a good shot onto Bugman's Rangers. Blasting charges are deleting some Bleak Swords as the Dark Elf Sorceress charges in. This is kind of a weird advance from the Dark Elves. Some of their units aren't partaking, other ones are. Oh, but the Bugman's Rangers get really good shots off onto the Spring Sorceress of Dark. A lot of damage for her. The Soul Stealer hits 2 units, Gyrocopters and Bugman's Rangers. That's okay. Harpies are going to have to start chasing those Gyrocopters down. It looks like they are. Other Harpies engage 2 Dwarf Infantry units. Looks like a Dwarf Warrior and a Longbeard as Shades turn and fire into Bugman's Rangers. They're doing pretty good damage over there. Pretty good on those Bugman's Rangers. Dragon Lady needs her breath attacks. Still has all 3, so she could get a 2-for-1 on these Dwarf Warriors and Miners with blasting charges, maybe. Witch Elves taking the long way around. And there's a breath attack. There it is. It is on both units. It's not the angle I would have liked, but it's still good. Does a lot of damage. That's nice. What else are we doing? Rune of Negation onto the Gyrocopters from Nurgle's PA while he tries to get them away from the Harpies. Other Harpies are fighting Bugman's Rangers and trading about 50-50 on damage. But the Bugman's Rangers have regen, so I don't know if that ends up being a good trade or not. As long as the Harpies hang around and can chase off routed stuff later, that'll be okay. 1 Shade is getting pushed way to the edge of the map by the Dwarves pursuing him. Witch Elves are still struggling to find a home in this conflict. And the Spring Sorceress of Dark is very, very ballsily flying right over the Dwarves. Bugman's Ranger Shooter, the Gyrocopter Shooter, but she gets a nasty chomp down on those Brimstone guns. Already sends one helicopter to the grave. There goes a second one. She is going to rout the unit. There we go. Witch Elves are in. They're fighting Bugman's Rangers, rampaging them so they can't shoot at the Sorceress. The Soul Stealer will hit another Bugman's and Thoric. So far, things are going okay for the Dark Elves. Dwarves are still holding strong. They're winning a lot of melee fights. Shade's killing one of their Bugman's Rangers up on the high ground. Other Shades shooting these Dwarf Warriors. I think that is, I mean, that's obviously the objective of the Dark Elves so far. They've been prioritizing the ranged units above anything else. But if they can take out all 3 Bugman's Rangers and the Gyrocopters, then they can kite with the Shades with all their ammunition. The Dwarves can't do anything about it. More Shades firing in to help out these Harpies against the Miser's Blasting Charges. The Blasting Charges do throw guard mode on, chuck at the Witch Elves anyway, and the Witch Elves are just throwing themselves at Longbeards, which the Longbeards are going to take like 0 damage from that interaction. Oh, that's a breath attack target right there. How many do you have left? 2 or 1? 2? Okay, it should be off cooldown then. If the first one... Yeah, we saw the first one, so it should be off cooldown. And that was a nasty breath attack target. Looks like she's not going to be able to capitalize on that. How are our Shades doing? One of our Shades is still running from Dwarf Warriors. Other Shade firing into the blob with plenty of ammunition. And the last Shade is also firing plenty of ammunition at Dwarf Warriors. Dark Elf Sorceress having troubles getting back up into the sky, though, if she's even trying to. And Blaster Charges take out another Bleak Sword unit. Oh, there's a 4th Shade. This Shade's firing at Thoric, and doing pretty well. The breath attack target for the Dark Elf Sorceress is starting to disperse as the Witch Elves rout, so she'll have to find another breath attack somewhere else. It's impressive that Hummus has a job as a chemist at, as a recent high school grad. Oh yeah, dude. Bugman's Rangers holding on with their impressive leadership. Regeneration still working for them. Oof, that was a nasty volley from the Shades. So where are we at for Bugman's? One is almost dead in the high ground. If these Harpies notice that they're up there, they could just run over and deal with that. Another one's routing. Longbeards get a nice breath attack onto them. Okay. We might get to the fast forward stage. Again, I haven't seen any of these replays ahead of time, so I have no idea what we're looking at. Oof. Nasty Rune of Wrath and Rune on the Shades, who are still standing and firing despite the fact that Dwarf Warriors caught up to them, so that's a bit of a mistake. They do have to back off. Other Shades running through the Dwarven formation to get to safety. Those Bugman's Rangers in the distance have come back. They're shooting at Witch Elves to rout them again. Oh, and these other Shades are also caught, getting shot by Bugman's Rangers, but also getting caught in the butt by Dwarf Warriors. So a couple mistakes really punishing the High Elves, Dark Elves in the late game. Thoric's down to half HP. That is a pretty good accomplishment. Supreme Sorceress of Dark does not want to be dueling him, especially since he has infantry support. She doesn't. He's also just a better combatant than she is, so she needs to back off. And the micros needed elsewhere as these Shades are getting caught up by Dwarf Warriors and getting murked. No! Rip in peace, Dark Elves. It's going to be a nasty series of trades. Shades getting a little too eager to fire as there's Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors right next to them. I know they want to shoot Thoric, I get that, but, like, keep it in your pants. One Shade is routing. Other Shades are just kiting around, back to ×2 speed for now. Another breath attack from the Sorceress. Does more damage to her own Harpies than it did to the Miners and stuff. I think she was aiming at Thoric, though. It was a whoopsie, Patrick. It was a whoopsie. Back to more Shade kiting. She is out of breath attacks now. She just has Soul Stealers and such. Dives in to try and help some Shades who are quickly surrounded. They tried to get a few pot shots off. It didn't really work out in their favor. Other Shades also try to get shots off. Again, they get charged. Faux free. Now some of these Shades are going to stand and fire at Thoric, getting decent damage out, but they are now, like, surrounded and taking a ton of damage. Another huge Rune of Wrath and Ruin going to take them down. Shades trying to squiggle away as the Dark Elf Supreme Sorceress dives in onto Thoric. Big Soul Stealer onto the area is going to hit a ton of units. Even with their spell resist, that one's going to hurt. And Thoric is down to 300 HP and falling. He routs. Is that the Dark Elf's way back into this game? They still have 4 Shades. They still have a good amount of ammunition. But not a ton of health left. Thoric is officially dead. Miners sneak up on these Shades, though. That is going to be brutal. Other Shades are surrounded. Can the Dwarven Infantry carry it? No breath attacks left on this lady, but she has probably 1 Soul Stealer left. Probably. And she is a giant cycle charging dragon monster. Longbeards are ITP. They'll never tear her out, but Dwarf Warriors, Miners, and such will. Alright. So Shades are all running away. Did you know that Dragon Ogres are a bunch of schizophrenics thinking their dream is reality while reality is a dream? I did not know that. I don't know why I needed to know that right now, but I did not know that. One of the shades is caught by the dwarves. Another shade is barely escaping while getting bailed up at Supreme Sorceress, and the other two are still trying to get some distance, get somewhere to shoot. That shade is toast. Bounce power shifts back in the favor of the dwarves. Other shade is firing, but it has Dwarf Warriors on its ass. So the shades continue to try and kite around. These two shades are going to try and help each other out by firing over the other one's backs. It's like that scene in a movie where someone you think is betraying you aims a gun at you, but they're actually shooting at the guy behind you. It's pretty much like that. And now the shades have all gotten together. They found a nice location to sit and shoot. They're firing at these longbeards, doing pretty good damage. But those miners and dwarf warriors that were routed are already back and already harassing the shades once more. Shades take a bunch of damage from these longbeards. I don't know if they got the DPS. Don't be sorry, I was just commenting to myself. If I actually had a problem with it, I wouldn't have read it out loud. Dark Elves might have it. If she has a Soul Steer left, now would be a great time. And a lot of stuff's getting close to routing. Even Longbeard's getting close to routing. Do you have a Soul Stealer left? Terror Rout's coming in already. Shades fighting it out. That Dwarf Warrior will shatter if it routes again. The Dark Elf caster might go back for it. God, that's a lot of dwarves, though. And there's a lot of Longbeards. There's so many dwarves. Big Soul Stealer is going to hit a bunch of units, probably even this very healthy Longbeard. Oh, that is a juicy Soul Stealer. Is it even enough? I don't know, but it's a juicy Soul Stealer. Shades trying to fight as these Longbeards plow into them. Bounce power shift back towards the middle for a bit. Dwarves in Exodus, a lot of them routing. This is big dragon, continues to eat them up. Yum, yum, yum. But Dowie are not afraid of the Drac. They ain't afraid of shit. And as our shades continue to rout, I think that might be the doom of the elves. Is there another Soul Stealer? Even if there is, I don't think it matters, but still. Yeah, she's gonna rout. GG. The stalwart dwarves carry it. Daniel Kennelly. I knew you'd show your face here. Cathay is probably the easiest one. Yeah. Let me finish this replay, then I'll give you a proper thingy, okay? Thoric and his Bugmans did fine. Brimstone Guns got shut down. That's more of a nice play by the Dark Elf player than like, oh, Nurgle's PA shouldn't have brought a helicopter. Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors did really well. Miners Blasting Charges did fantastically. On the other side, Elfarian Shades, 2,300 on his Dark Elf Sorceress. Pretty good stuff. Shades, overall, not a ton of value, but good. They did good. Bleak Swords and Witch Elves had a rough go, but it was a pretty close game overall. And the Harpies actually did better than I would have thought, so good for them. Pretty close game. Pretty close game. It's Dwarves versus Dark Elves, though, so it does get a little protracted towards the end. As usually the Dark Elves need to do a bit of kiting. Hard to take the Dwarves in straight up melee. Alright. Yeah, so... You asked about being a new player. I'm going to give you more information than you asked for. So if you go to my Discord, the link's in the description, get the Rat Ogre role. With the Rat Ogre role, it gives you access to a new player chat, best of one practice pit where it isn't ranked, and a list of coaches. If you pick a faction you want to learn, you can go to any of these coaches and you can just say like, hey, fucking Persian Warrior, teach me Grand Cathay. You can message them. The people on this list signed up to get messaged by people. So, like, you're not bothering them. They're literally here for that. If they ever don't want to receive messages from people like you, they will ask me to take their name off the list, and we can do that. So feel free to ask them questions. As for beginner factions, High Elves are pretty good for beginners. They're hard to master, but, like, kind of easy to start. And I'll explain, because there's going to be a common thread. Grand Cathay, High Elves, Dark Elves, Dwarves, wherever they are, is a pretty good starter faction. Vampires, not really. Tomb Kings. Tomb Kings is a better one. So any of these factions, Warriors of Chaos, have high leadership in a lot of their units. So they don't rout. Or in the Tomb Kings case, they're undead, so they don't rout. So you don't have to focus on your units routing and bringing them back to the fight constantly. You can just focus more on fighting well with the units you have while you have them. Yeah. Those would be some good factions. The tricky part, though, is it's almost always better to just pick a faction that you think is cool and learn them, because that'll keep you more invested in the game than if you hate High Elves and you just play High Elves because someone told you they're an easy way to start. You're just never going to have as much fun as a faction you actually give a shit about. Ooh, Lizardmen. Lizardmen's another good one. Again, they're hard to play at like the top level, but starter level, they're okay. They have pretty high leadership, a lot of healing and stuff. Those would be some good factions. But again, generally you just want to play what's fun for you. All right, next game. I gotta delete that one first. There it is. Now I gotta find myself versus Persian Warrior. There it is. There it is. List of coaches is awesome. Yeah. We're here for you, buddy. If you want domination stuff, you should hit up either Platypus or Turin. But my Discord is mostly focused around land battles. So if you're looking for Dom advice, you might want to hit up Platy. He's just better. All right, for the builds, Grand Cathay versus Vampire Coast. We have two firing rockets for Cathay. Crowmen and Righteous Lances of Wei Jin, so pretty good Air Force. Some Peasant Longspears, some Jade Warrior Crossmen, Peasant Horsemen, Jade Lancers, Jade Lancers, Jade Lancers, Zhao Ming, the Iron Dragon, and some Peasant Longspears. For the glorious Vampire Coast, we have two Deck Dropper Bombers. We have three handguns, three Deck Gunners, one of which is the Shade Wraith Gunners. We have the Lamprey's Revenge, Rotting Promethean Gunnery Mob ROR. Ooh, I have 5 handguns total, actually. Front line of some random swords, and a Vampire Fleet Admiral of Death. Fire and rockets are doing a lot of damage to me. But that's okay. That's okay. If our deck gunners get in range, we can shut them down. There's a lot of air power, so let's try and kite back with our deck drop bombers and pull these Righteous Lances of Wei Jin into range of Fate of Buna, motherfucker! What you gotta do about it? Nothing! Nothing. You enjoying that point-and-click fun time we're having? You know what else is going to be fun? I'm going to bomb the shit out of your Jade Warrior Crossmen. I'm going to bomb the fuck out of them. All right, we're in range, and go. Bomb them. Go. Bomb them over there, too. Bomb them. Bomb them? Throw your bombs? Maybe throw your fucking bombs once? Hey, you going to do anything? You're just going to sit there like a jackass and get shot. Okay, retreat. Never mind, you're crumbling, so let's just turn around. Might as well suicide, get some bombs off. Might as well throw your stupid fucking bombs. Throw your stupid bombs! You dumbass piece of shit! Do it! I'm not mad. I've gotten over it. After all this time, actually, I've chilled out. I'm perfectly fine with how that interaction went. I'm super happy with how that interaction... I'm not mad, you're mad. Deck gunners all getting murdered by fire rain rockets. The Crowmen and the Righteous Lances of Wei Jin are pushed back. It's fine. It's fine. My deck gunners get into range of the fire and rockets. They have orders to kill the fire and rockets. And now they drop their orders to kill the fire and rockets, and they're going to shoot at other stuff for a while. That's pretty cool, too. Never stop squealing? Yeah. Sorry, Willow Tree Rock. That is... It's part of the meme. It's part of the meme. As for rewatching the replay again, probably not, and you'll see why. So... The deck gunners lost their attack orders onto the fire rain rockets. Now they're sitting there uselessly not doing anything because they don't have orders, but they used to have orders on the fire rain rocket. And they're just getting shot for free. Everything is falling apart. Jade Lancers have corrupted my back line. The enemy front line is winning, and my animated hulks are trying to get up there. it is already looking quite doomed, as nothing from the enemy has been shut down. Both their fire and rockets are still online, and I quickly surrender. So, it was just a very one-sided game. So 3 things went wrong there. 1, I literally forgot fire and rockets existed. As soon as we loaded in, and the fire and rockets started flying, I was like, shit! Started running forward. So I was like, oops. We did an oops. So I try to get into range, and then I try to kite around with my bombers a little bit, and I fuck it up. Like, I fucked up the bomber kite. We all know that. I went in front of the archers for too long. I didn't approach at an angle. Like, I acknowledge I fucked that up, and I'm like, damn it. Well, they're gonna die anyway. Throw your bombs. And they wouldn't throw. And I was like, what are you, too close? So I back them off, and I give them new orders to throw. And they just walk up, and they just fucking die. And I'm like, what the shit? Okay, so I forgot an entire unit existed. Then 2 of my units bug out and do nothing. Fuck! Okay, well, deck gunners get in range. My deck gunners get in range. They fire twice, and then they lose their attack orders of the firing rocket. So then for the rest of the game, they're just sitting there. And I noticed they weren't firing after, like, you know, a while, and I'm just like, shit, and I surrendered. I surrendered as soon as I noticed the fucking Shade Wraith gunners stopped shooting at the firing rockets. I was like, no! Why? It was just a disaster. That was too funny. Yeah, and if you were around for yesterday's stream, when I wanted to talk about range units being bugged, I pulled up this replay without showing you who it was, because I knew it was the Faction War game. Human Boy tried the what bomber and vacuum? The bat bomber and vacuum? Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I got, like, yeah, that was just, it was funny. I loaded in, I'm like, ooh, this might be tough on builds. Oof, there's a bug. Oof, there's another bug. Yeah, I got slapped. Because even without the bugs, I think you would have won. Persian had a pretty good build, and my build was lacking. But it was just funny. Listen, guys, we're already completely fucked. Let's at least put on a good show. My bomber bats, no. Oh, God, it was so funny. I'm not even mad that I lost. Like I said, the bugs are just funny. As soon as we loaded in and I saw his build, I was like, oh, I fucked up. So it's okay. It's not like, oh, it was such a close game and I lost off of a stupid bug. It's like, nah, that shit was doomed. That was super doomed. Sorry, it's funnier for me because I was there. Like, I just remember my reaction. As soon as the game starts, those fire and rockets start firing, and it's just like, you get that sinking feeling in your gut where you're like, I fucked up. It's similar to that when I was playing a ton of Greenskins and I was fighting the Lizard Men and they had that Dread Saurian heal blob, and I just forgot the Dread Saurian existed, so I had like a ton of goblins, squigs, orc boar boys, trolls. I had no archers, no skirmish cav, and it was like, oh shit. Let's just feed these goblins one by one to the Shredder of Lustria. Bringing good builds is important. Okay, sorry. Someone sent me some messages that were important in the background. What's next? So we're entering round 2 here. Lucinia on Khorne versus Segos on Kislev. Khorne and Kislev. KKK. There we go. Weapon team diff. Yeah, I got slapped. We got clapped! I thought it was going to be a crane gunner versus deck gunner battle, and then I got fire rained. That was silly. Need need to save this quickly. Somebody sent me something to save. Okay. What do we have here? Ooh, Vanguard shenanigans. Kislev, 2 heavy war sleds, 3 horse archers, Mother Ostankia with Flock of Doom as her only spell. And then the rest of the Kislevite army, we have some armored Kossars, Kossars with spears in the back, an incarnate elemental of beasts, Oath Brothers of Tor, and a Patriarch. For Khorne, Fleshhounds of Khorne, including their Regiment of Renown, some Chaos Knights, Valkia, more Chaos Knights, more Fleshhounds, so 4 total Fleshhounds, 2 Chaos Knights, 2 Minotaurs with Great Weapons, a bunch of Marauders. Neato. What up, Segos? What's going on? Faction war stuff. Chilling, vibing, laughing at my mistakes, because they are plentiful. Why am I being pinged? Is this important? Okay. Anyway. Chaos Knights of Khorne catching up to these Horse Archers, getting a little bit of damage out. The Horse Archers can't really counter-fight them that well, but ooh, I like this. They turn around and just fight the Chaos Knights of Khorne to hold them in place for the Oath Brothers to get a wraparound charge. And now the Oath Brothers are going to tear these guys away, and it's like, yeah, you lose a 500 gold Horse Archer, but you kill an entire Chaos Knight of Khorne, that's huge. So, really good play from Kislev in the backfield there. Meanwhile, the rest of their elements trying to kite, but some of these war wagons, heavy war sleds, sorry, getting caught up. Taking some damage, trying to charge away. Those bears running for their lives, but oof, Chaos Knights of Khorne taking big damage. Incarnate Elemental Beast thinking about coming over there. It's a little late for that, my friend. You probably want to turn around and get involved with this fight right here, because your Mortis Engine would be more than welcome. As an overcast Flock of Doom from Mamo Stankia is hitting all these units. Could pile on the Flock of Dooms. Oath Brothers of Tor and the Patriarch also charging back into battle. And the Incarnate is here to spear. And he is chilling, man. Khorne is piling up onto this Mortis Engine. Mother Ostankia is firing in too. And any clusters can get really punished by her crazy missiles. How are the heavy war sleds doing? Not amazing, honestly. They're not having a great time. Oath Brothers of Tor about to debuff everybody around here. These Minotaurs go down to 4 melee defense and 21 melee attack. And now Kislev's healing. So Minos are trying to fight. There's a ton of good targets, but it looks like they're T-posing a little bit, not swinging a bunch, and their stats are debuffed. Khorne is falling, but dangerously far behind the balance of power. Mama O and her skirmish chariots running away. Skirmish cabs also running away, as more and more infantry and dogs and Minos pile in to try and fight the Incarnate. He is just draining them all down, taking very little damage, and Mama O's even just throwing in more Flocks of Dooms for insult to injury. Between his passive Flock of Doom and all these Flocks of Doom, they're just birds. It's birds for days. Are you okay? I'm always okay. All right. Central fight's going terribly for Khorne. They're getting pushed off. Terror routes, natural routes, some demonic instability, all that stuff. Valkia is now surrounded. And Khorne doesn't have a lot of strength to lean back on here. Nothing's really going right for them. This tiny catch onto some Kossar spears is going well, but other than that, the rest of the battlefield goes to Kislev. That is very evident in the balance of power. And the Incarnate Elemental Beast could probably solo the rest of the army that's on the field right now. And he is not alone. We also have the Oath Brothers of Tor. Nice spear Sleipnir. Just a last middle finger to those armored Kossars. Get fucked. That is that. Thank the bomber bats that didn't throw. Yeah. Minotaurs got very little value as they charged in, got debuffed, and then Lucinia had messaged me and said, ah, cool, my Minotaurs T-posed, very fun, very exciting, which I know the feel, dude. I know the feel. On the other side for Segos, Mama O did great, Oath Brothers of Tor did fantastically well, Incarnate did fine, Heavy War Sleds also did fine, Skirmish Cav and Armored Kossars did well, but GG. What do the RR Fleshhounds do? They have regeneration when in melee, and they get rid of the enemy's magic damage. So that makes them tankier. Yes, as Wesley Bravo is saying. Okie dokie. Kislev advances. Go, Kislev, go. I brought you over here, right? Yeah, okay. What now? What now? What now? I need to find Empire versus Skavenos. There it is. But first we have to get rid of the other one. There it is. Let's get rid of that one. And then do this one. Yes? Yes. We have a lot of replays to sift through, so sometimes it takes me time to find the right ones. All right, I'm focused in here. Blood Penguin on his Empire versus Skaven. This is a matchup he and I have played many times. He has solo carried with Boris Todbringer before, but it is still not a matchup he particularly enjoys. What do we have here? For Father Ram, we have 2 Rattling Guns, a Warp Lightning Cannon, just a regular one, Pit Fighters of Hell's Deep with 3 other Rat Ogres in the back, Clan Rat Spears, and Clan Rats. Wow, actually, for Skaven, that's a pretty elite front line. Ikit Claw on his Doomwheel, Cleansing Ruin and Howling Warpgale, and then a Packmaster with his usual buffs. On the other side, we have an Amethyst Wizard with Spirit Leech and Fate of Buna. Boris Todbringer with all of his leadership debuffs. Looks like 4 Empire Knights. Yes. 4 Empire Knights, some Huntsmen, the Silver Bullets, a Hellblaster Volley Gun, interestingly enough, and then a whole bunch of Spearmen and Swordsmen across the front line. Cool. Lucinia, that is one of the best comments I've ever seen. The Fleshhound RR gets my seal of approval as one of the RORs of all time. I like the build up there. Yes, I am also quite underwhelmed by the Fleshhound regiment over now. I usually just go... I honestly avoid Fleshhounds in general, but when I take them, I just take regular ones. Rattling Guns are going to have a tough time unless they can isolate Boris. Oh, sneaky dogs! Ah, such sneaky dogs. I didn't even notice them back there. That Hellblaster is fucked. Anyway, Rattling Guns firing in on the Spearmen, getting a little bit of value, but they're mostly here for Boris. Maybe also here for the Fate of Buna caster that is currently Fate of Bunaing them right now. Have fun being interactive, you, as they are just outright dead. But the Wolf Rats are here, shutting down that Hellblaster Volley Gun like champions, and if they quickly divert onto the Silver Bullets and the Huntsman, there's only 1 Empire Knight back here, so it can't stop both of them if they split up. If they stick together, that Empire Knight can be a real pain in the dick. Both Rattling Guns are pushed off, one by the Huntsman, one shattered and killed by the Fate of Buna. Ooh, the other Empire Knight's also leaving. Penguin doesn't know! He doesn't know the Wolf Rats are here! Oh, the Empire backline is just waiting to get eaten alive. But the Wolf Rats, they stall. No, they stall. Penguin sees it. He sees it. That's why he's going back, that son of a bitch. No, not my Wolf Rats. Not my precious Wolf Rats. Ah, just a little delayed there. So Boris is going to be able to rout off those. The Empire Knights will rout off the other ones. Rat Ogre is going to get caught napping by the Empire Knights. They'll still win that fight probably, but the free charge is not going to help. Warp Lightning Cannon hits Ikit in the face because reasons, but it is still pressuring Boris a little bit. Silver Bullet's firing at him, but Ikit's going to juke right behind that little stone plinth. And then he's back out in the open with a Spirit Leech on his head too, so he's going to have a bad time. Rat Ogres probably have to get engaged. Skaven front line is holding. Their back line has mostly fallen apart. Rat Ogres killing some Empire Knights and stuff, but I mean, out of their weapons teams, the Warp Lightning Cannon's taking a lot of damage. Rattling Guns are almost dead as well. Nice Howling Warp Gale paired with Rattling Guns shooting at him, but they're a little bit far, and he is on a Pegasus mount. Pegasus, Manticore mounts, and Eagle mounts all kind of do a wiggle when you get shot, so they don't take a ton of damage from Rattling Guns unless you're, like, right underneath them, which is not something that's easy or common to do. I'm just saying why you usually don't take a lot of damage on mounts like this, because look at all that wiggle. Look at that wiggle! Undercasted Cleansing Ruin, also punishing the Amethyst Wizard. Bounce power is against the Skaven, which is something you never really want to see. Skaven are a faction that kind of perpetually needs to be ahead on the balance power if they're going to win a game. Packmaster got caught out by Boris and the Empire Knights. It looks like he was running to aid some Wolf Rats with something, but then they routed without him, and he just got left alone and murdered. It's looking tough for the Skavenos. I don't know what they're going to do, because the Amethyst Wizard is now just going to Spirit Leech Kite Ikit, or Boris will dive him. Either or is fine. All of your weapons teams are shut down. We have a good number of Rat Ogres, some Wolf Rats still coming back in the fight, but that's just not going to be enough. Howling Warp Gale locks Boris in place, but there's no follow-up for him. And the Silver Bullets shooting at some Rat Ogres, who are also getting shot at by Huntsmen, who are also fighting Empire Knights. So those are some hard-working Rat Ogres over there. Ikit getting spirit leeched yet again. Boris is just biding his time before going over there and giving him the business. Packmaster will get away at least. Empire Knights can try and chase him, but the Packmaster should be fast with 105 speed. Balanced power's looking real friendly, though, for the Empire. What up, fat kid? How you doing? Been a while. Ikit idles on his doom wheel, considering his life, breathing in that dank smoke. Look at him in there, doing his best. Wait, he's out there pumping? I thought Ikit was driving. Wait, who the fuck is... Why is it... He is... What? How am I the first one to see this? Ikit Claw is on the back and inside the doom wheel? Is that a fake Ikit? What the fuck? What? Why is he on both? Why are there two Ikits? What the fuck? Why? Who put this in the game? Why do we have two Ikits? He doesn't have any hands. Why doesn't he have any hands? Why does he have no hands? You're not the first one? I didn't notice. But am I the first one to notice he doesn't have arms? Oh wait, one's like inside his body. That's awesome. Okay. Sorry, this game is doomed. Not Warhammer 3, this game right here. Packmaster actually managed to come back. Flensing Ruin, Overcast onto Boris will get some decent value, but the Overcast does hurt Ikit. And, oh, his unlimited power also hurts him, so double Overcast for Ikit. And Boris is not really caring about the Flensing Ruin too much. It's doing damage, but it'll just heal it up. Huntsman and Silver Bullets all firing. Ikit takes enough damage to rout. Rout he shall. And that'll be GG. The Empire will advance. His spear thing is floating? Perfect. Just perfect. Alright. I made a note for myself to check that for a video. That'd be funny. Empire Knights did okay. The ranged units for the Empire did great. Boris never gets a crazy amount of value, but he just routed a bunch of stuff. Father Ram did his best. Warp Lightning Cannon did great. Rattling Guns really struggled. Packmaster struggled. So did the Rat Ogres and Wolf Rats and such. I mean, the Wolf Rat shut down a Hellblaster Volley Gun, which was nice, but then they stalled out a little bit. That right there is a whoopsie. Who is pinging me right now? Rocket, why would you say that about it? Why would you do that? One of my admins just messaged and said, hey, I showed up to stream a bit late, but so far all the games have been pretty close. My Grand Cathay versus Vampire Coast game was not close, Rocket. You meanie. You bully. Alright, Empire Advanced, what am I looking for next? Razel versus Sir Groot. Okay. Let's get serious, everybody. No more farting around. Razel, Sir Groot, Razel, Sir Groot. There we are. Beastmen versus the Greenskins. Pretty back and forth matchup. A lot of people have opinions about it. Some people think it's Beastmen favored, some people think it's Greenskin favored. I don't know where I fall these days. I honestly don't. Especially with the Incarnate Elemental Beasts. Another sighting, by the way, of our Incarnate. He's been rather popular today. What do we have for the Beastmen? They're in the woods. It's a little hard to tell. We have a bunch of Centaurs. Some of them with throwing axes. We have the Butchers of Kalkengard Minotaurs. We have the Incarnate Elemental Beasts. Torx the Brass Bull. Bray Shaman of Traderkin. And then Ungor Spearman herds across the front line. Very melee-heavy Beastman build. On the other side, Goblins. Ooh, an Orc Biggin. A rare Orc Biggin sighting. 4 Squigs, 4 Goblins. We have 2 Savage Orc Boar Boys, 2 Orc Boar Boys, a Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggin, and a regular Orc Boar Boy Biggin, but it's the Regiment of Renown. 3 Wolf Rider Archers, one of which is Morgoth's Magi Marauders. We have the Swamp Things River Trolls with their Terror, and Wurzag for the army-wide buffs. Beastmen are heavily overloading one flank, and they're just trying to get in here, break some Greenskins, and get into that back line. Not that there's a lot of Archers to disrupt or anything, but might as well. As the rest of the Greenskins try and mosey over and get into the fight, these Goblins are already routing. The Squigs are already routing too. The Archers have started firing away. Boar Boys get a countercharge, take a lot of damage off those Spear Herds. The Savage Orc Boar Boys and the Boar Boy Biggins are waiting for now. Oof. A little bit of a whoopsie as some of the Skirmish Cav close in on Torox. And they will run away, so no harm, no foul there. Big Traderkin, but it does not hit Wurzag, so we'll see how much damage it even does. Traderkin pretty much only does damage to characters, to be honest. Greenskin's entire flank has collapsed here. On the far side, Greenskins are doing much better, cutting through some Ungors and Centaurs having to run away from that battle. Meanwhile, the River Troll Hags, the Swamp Things, getting whittled down by Torox. They're not enjoying it whatsoever. I think there's also Butcher's Scouting Guard nearby. Yeah. It's a bit of a tough one. Greenskin's still holding okay on the balance of power. And now the Incarnate Elemental Beast is netted right in front of all 3 Skirmish Cav. And they do really, wow, they do okay damage to him. Haven't seen Skirmish Cav doing good damage in a long time. Wurzag threw out some sort of buff to someone. Fists of Gork on the Broken Tusks mob. There it is. And a Wah Pop. So Greenskins get a big power buff here. It's not going to help the southern fight. The southern fight's just going way too well for the Beastmen as Razel overloads that flank, but it'll help the top fight out a little bit. Another Traderkin. This one is much more on point. It is undercast, but it does hit Wurzag. And the Boar Boys are still trying to surround the Incarnate Elemental Beast, who has taken a lot of damage. He's under half HP, and unlike Kislev, there's no healing for him this time. Greenskins holding for now, and the Beastmen advance is actually faltering quite a lot down here. We have several things routing, and these guys have been stuck here forever fighting these Orc Biggins. Now Razel is trying to path away, which is a smart move, but the Biggins are still poking him in the buns. North side also is not going as well for the Greenskins as they would have thought. Both sides like started off real strong on their flank that they attacked, and then stalled out pretty hard. So it's like one side's coming in here, other side's coming up here. Got ourselves a yin-yang. Where's Cathay? Where's Cathay when you need it? Incarnate's just trying to stay away from the Skirmish Cav for now, help out fight the Orc Boar Boys. They're plenty happy to do that. Butchers of Scouting Guard, I don't know if they want to fight Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins. I don't see the Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins. I just see Savage Orc Boar Boys. Still should be a good surround here, though. 3 different units of Bacon Cav trying to close in. Or where is this one going? Okay, this one's just fucking around. Oh, no, it is trying to fight them. There's one Butcher here that's holding them up. And the Orc Biggins. Oh, this is a disaster for the Butchers. And maybe even Torox might want to get out of here after that Brass Body has had its way. Second Wash should be coming soon. And if it comes while the Butchers of Scouting Guard are in melee combat, then that'll be the end of them. Though their Terror might save them. As a Broken Tusk mob. Have you Terror routed recently? Otherwise you might get going. Nah. Butcher's routing. Greenskins pulling back to the middle of the balance of power, which is better than they have been doing this game. Wurzag's still very healthy. He's chilling. Swamp Things regenerating while they're fighting Torox. And these Orc Biggins, man. Them surrounding him with their anti-large, that's really, really good. Where is that second wall? I wonder what's taking so long for it. Sir Groots is pursuing that Incarnate Elemental Beast with his Skirmish Cav. He ain't gonna let it go for now. Get a nice little poke damage onto him. And another Traderkin hits everybody in this blob. Did not hit Wurzag, but still, all these guys are so low they are actually going to rout off with Centaurs charging in. Greenskins actually take the lead on the balance of power, though, and these Savage Orc Boar Boys fighting back against Centaurs. And we need that second wall, unless I already missed it. There it is at last. Second wall comes out, trying to buff up these Savage Orc Boar Boys and keep them in the fight against the Centaurs. But there's not a ton of Greenskin stuff in melee combat anymore. Most of them were routing at the time of the second wall pop. That is a bit of a whoops. Well, not a whoops, just more unfortunate, because Razel ran away. Razel ran away from a lot of the fights while Wah was popped. Incarnate taking more Skirmish Cav fire. He's down to about 1,000 HP, which is not a lot. Balance power still right back at the middle. I'm looking around for any reinforcements for either side. Not really. Both sides have taken a hell of a walloping. So Greenskins have more infantry and Skirmish Cav left, while the Beastmen have Torox, who's rather spooky, and they still have some Centaurs running around. Centaur's plowing into the skirmish cav. Looks like we have another Traderkin. Is it overcast? It's just regular, but still, that'll do some decent damage. And the Wolf Riders not enjoying their fate whatsoever. Brainburst will do some damage to the Centaurs throwing axes and give some buffs to the Goblin Wolf Riders, but they're just no match for the Centaurs in combat whatsoever. And all 3 of the skirmish cav get surrounded and picked off. That is a brutal loss for the Greenskins. Wurzag has a lot of that balance power, and Wurzag would not stand like even a minute of fighting Torox. Is there any hope for the Greenskins? Balance of power aside, like, everything is routing. I think the Beastmen are actually just too far ahead here. Did nobody ever bring Gorgons? Will nobody bring Gorgons? Maybe. Gorgons can heal themselves. The Incarnate can't. Are playing in the faction war? A lot of people. A lot of people. Alright. Final fight here. I imagine Wurzag will pop a spell if he has any. It looks like it's going to be Fists of Gorkon to something, and I bet he's hoping it doesn't rout before it fully pops. Greenskins fighting to the last, routing off some Centaurs, routing off some Ungor Raiders nearby, but Torox is the main boss now, and there's really no one that can resist him at this point. Wurzag doesn't have any single target spells that are any good. He has no support left, and Torox is about to beat up the poor man on his poor pig and call it a day. But that was a very close game. As you can see, there's not a lot left, but it's just like, I mean, Torox can body Wurzag at this point. That's tough. Ooh, a Traderkin to add insult to injury. Even though Wurzag's already fighting Torox the Brass Bull in melee combat, he feels like using a Traderkin just to seal the deal. It was an admirable attempt from the Greenskins, though. They were ahead for a little bit. And I'm going to hit fast forward because we all know how this ends at this point. Yeah. There's no shot Wurzag beats Torox like that. Razel, advancing. Almost 1,600 on Torox. Only 650 on the Incarnate Elemental. Those skirmish cav did a lot more work than I would have expected. 2,500 on the Traderkin caster. Really punishing those blobs. Despite the fact that I always harp on about getting Wurzag in the circle, he still did get some really good Traderkins on like several units. Even if Wurzag wasn't in those units. Ungor Raiders did fine. I mean, Ungor Spearmen, sorry. For Sir Groot, Wurzag did great. Some of the more elite boar units didn't get a ton done, but those Orc Biggins, slapping fools. Mostly when they're involved in that Minotaur and Torox fight, they were just living their best life. Orc Boys struggled a little bit. The Skirmish Cav, paid for itself and a little bit more in some cases, so pretty good. Goblins and Squigs did okay. GG's. GG's. Gotta get to the Photoshop, advance the Beastmen. So we have 3 more games today. Dwarves versus Grand Cathay, and Kislev versus Empire, and Beastmen versus whoever wins. Hopefully you have enjoyed the stream, despite me being cringe sometimes. But I do enjoy being cringe. I'll try to keep it to a minimum, but I can't guarantee. Alright, Grand Cathay and Dwarves, where are you? There you are. I played Gotrek Starbreaker in this... No, wait. I didn't play against them. Who did I play? I was Dwarves and someone else was Grand Cathay in a different tournament, and this shit felt the most doomed I have ever played in my entire life. Croman just fucking murdered me. We'll see what Nurgle's PA can do. Persian Warrior, of course, slapped my bottom in round 1. Maybe PA can avenge me. Alright, for the builds. That is a lot of dwarves. My god. Okay. Dwarf warriors with great weapons mixed with longbeards and regular dwarf warriors in the front line. Cool. In the back line, we have slayers and more dwarf warriors with great weapons. Some blasting charge miners and more slayers. We also have Thoric Ironbrow to give his buffs. So there's like no range units here. I mean, you have miners, but not like archers. For the side of Cathay, we have 4 Croman, one of which is the Empress Croman. The Righteous Lances of Wei Jin, 4 Crane Gunners, some Peasant Horsemen, a front line of Peasant Long Spears, and Zhao Ming, the Iron Dragon. Gives Wurzag the Sword of Gain. It's a massive dwarven melee rush. That's kind of Chad. I like that energy. It's new. It's different. And it really does use the most out of Thoric's global fucking... Did he not bring it? Oh my god. He's not on his anvil? He's not on his anvil? You don't get your global plus 24 melee attack on an all melee build, you insane person. This is madness. I cannot condone this. Cathay is trying to dive in, just disrupt these troops as much as they can to give the crane gunners some time to shoot. The crane gunners are firing at the miners with blasted charges. Looks like they really don't want those guys to throw at their peasants. I suppose, yeah, Cathay did not bring a lot of infantry at all, so those blasted charges could just melt the peasants. I wonder what they are going to do about these dwarves. You don't have Jade Warriors just sit and grind forever. Huh. Some miners are already routing. Righteous Lances and the Empress Crowman diving in on these miners as well. But that's why he's trying to stop the miners, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that one. They got their volley off, and that whole Peasant Longspear just fucking died. They're doing their best. Crane Gunner's still firing in. Slayer's trying to chase around Zhao Ming, and the dwarves have reached the front line. Now, these Peasant Longspears are not getting harmony buffs, so their melee defense is a pathetic 24 compared to what you're used to with Cathay. So these Peasant Longspears are actually getting pushed through rather quickly. Also, I don't know if it's a bug with this patch or something, but Formation Attack, even though it says it provides melee defense, it no longer provides melee defense. So that was also a subtle nerf to Cathay. So these Peasant Longspears don't have... I think they have about half the melee defense you guys are thinking they do, because of the way they're usually done. Dwarves pushing straight through those miners just wrecked the Peasant Longspears, and already the Crane Gunners are having to resort to kiting. Onyx Crowman not having such a good time without range units to go pick apart. Now, Cathay is ahead on the balance of power, but it doesn't look like it. Man, these dwarves are angry. These dwarves are closing in. Zhao Ming is doing his best. He's like, somebody please pay attention to me. Let the Crane Gunners shoot you for the love of God. And the Crane Gunners are doing their best, trying to kill some Dwarf Warriors who are running up. And they're getting shot in the face, to be fair. They are getting shot in the face. Man, the balance of power keeps getting worse for the dwarves. I don't know. It doesn't feel that way. It feels like things are going fine for the dwarves. As another Peasant Longspear falls, Onyx Crowmen still committing their bodies to the fray, trying to stop these dwarves. Can the Crane Gunners do it? How do they deal with Zhao Ming? How does anyone deal with Zhao Ming? Ignore him and he just loses. Human Boy, resident Zhao Ming hater. I am a Zhao Ming hater, and I don't mean that in the way that I hate Thoric, because I fucking despise Thoric. But I don't despise Zhao Ming, I just think he sucks ass. I think he's terrible. I don't know. I am not a believer. If Zhao Ming had concert tickets for free, I would burn them for fun. Most of the Peasant Longspears are routing. Zhao Ming's trying to find something to do. The Emperor's Crowmen, the other Crowmen are really attritioning out. There's just, I mean, there's no healing for them, obviously. And they're doing their best. All four Crane Gunners are now in this back corner, getting pushed around. Strat game in here defending Gorgons. Classic. That's just classic strat game. And the Dwarves advance, man. The Dwarves advance. Crane Gunners trying to slip out, sneak away, but there's an awful lot of Dwarves in the vicinity that are closing in on you. And the edge of the map is right there. Oh, they're getting cornered. They're getting hurted. If you can't catch them, hurt them. And not hurt them, hurt them. You hurt them so you can hurt them. Miners getting rear charged by the Onyx Crowman, but there are Slayers just behind that. Crane Gunners make a valiant last stand, firing into more Longbeards as Dwarf Warriors close in on them, but Cathay's doing everything it can. It's just like, no, please. But it's like slapping at the tides. You can't stop the tide from coming. I think this might be a fast forward game. Fine. Fine. They will get a nice route here, but there are Slayers coming in. One Crane Gunner tries to slip away from the trap. Other ones are relying on Onyx Crowman to make space for them, but Longbeards are tanky fellows. We'll quickly route all three of those Onyx Crowmen. Dwarf Warriors with great weapons are going to catch these Crane Gunners, and all of a sudden the balance of power is back to even. Dwarves making their opponent's corner camp. Yes. And I find it very funny. Thork and the boys, routing more Onyx Crowmen straight off the map. Crane Gunners getting herded back towards the corner. Their desperate attempt to break out was for naught, except for that one. That one actually escaped, so good for you, that one. Zhao Ming's trying to stop everybody. They should probably just ignore him and keep trying to heckle the Crane Gunners, as Onyx Crowmen actually beat up these Dwarf Warriors with great weapons. Brutal. But more Dwarves close in. Some firing from the crane gunners into the blob, doing a lot of damage. But time's up, crane gunners. They get caught. Getting pushed around. And Zhao Ming is isolated. Army losses comes. And I told you, you can just ignore him. Slayers did well. Honestly, all the dwarves did fine. You just needed bodies and you walked at them. That was pretty funny. That was a funny game. For Persian, I mean, he played the best he could. It's just like, this was not the build he was expecting at all. And then it's like, oh, well, all my range disruption units are not going to be worth anything. And I can't kite as long as I need to kill all these fucking dwarves. But, yeah. It's a toughie. Dwarves advance. 2 games left. Kislev versus Empire. Beastmen versus Dwarves. Okay, so we can delete that one. What am I looking for? Empire and Kislev? Or Beastmen and Dwarves? I know where the Beastmen and Dwarves is. Because they played, Beastmen and Dwarves played right before I started the stream. That's why I started the stream, is they played. And I was like, oh, well then the left side's done. Is this them? This is them. Segos and Blood Penguin. Empire versus Kislev. The battle of, don't you guys have better things to be doing right now? If Kislev and the Empire are fighting, something terrible has gone wrong because they are both very busy not fighting each other. And interestingly enough, Segos only took Akshin ambushers from the DLC units. No things in the woods, no Mama O. Alright. For Kislev, we do have some corner caused by dervishes. Looks like just one. And then we have more regular dervishes that are not in the vanguard. Winged lancers, and caused dervishes. This is a Chad move to bring Griffin Legion versus Blood Penguin. Blood Penguin's on the Empire. Because when he plays Kislev, despite all the times I beg him not to, Blood Penguin takes Griffin Legion, and they are an ass unit. They are ass gigatrash bad. But man, Blood Penguin loves him. So Segos brought Blood Penguin's favorite unit against him. We do have 3 Akshin ambushers, one of which is the Wolfhearts with their net. And then we have a Ice Witch of Tempest with only a Hailstorm. On the other side, for the Empire and Blood Penguin, Balthasar Gelt with Final Transmutation and Plague of Rust. Front line of Swordsmen and Spearmen. 3 Huntsmen, a Hellblaster Volley Gun, a whole bunch of Cavalry, 4 Empire Knights, 1 Demigryph Knight with Halberds. And that is about it. It is State Troops, a Hellblaster Volley Gun, and Cav. We're doing the back side of the faction war. The right side of the faction war, they have 1 game left to play before it's ready to be streamed. They are done with everything but 1 game. Kislev has advanced. I would not be surprised if Gelt got netted right now, depending on the range. Tempest trying to hit Hellblaster Volley Gun, get some decent damage, but a big Final Transmutation Overcast is really draining that Ice Witch's health. And she has no healing for her, and she is on foot, making her wow. Yeah, her HP pool is very small. She's already half HP from that. That's a good start for the Empire. Kislev has extremely high leadership, but still, Lord Sniping them is a good way to get them to pop their Fire Blood passives. A metric shit ton of pistol fire is killing off the Huntsmen very rapidly, and the Empire State Troops are starting to advance to do something about that. Meanwhile, Kislev's cavalry is moving up, and we will have ourselves a cavalry battle. But another Blood Penguin! Buddy! Friend! My guy! Maybe my best friend in the whole world. I love Blood Penguin, okay? How 2 games in a row do a Wolf Rat and now a Suicide Dervish just straight up naked charge your Hellblaster? How does that keep happening to you? How? Anyway. Crucial end. In the bracket, real quick, just for you. In the bracket, everything up until top 4 is being played ahead of time, and then the top 4 will be live. But with this many people, it was impossible to do it live, so we just did schedule at your own convenience, and then when all the games were played on 1/2, I can cast 1/2 in one go. Right. All right, Hellblaster Volley Gun is shut down. Spearmen are trying to show up now. Demigryph Knights and Halberds are also showing up, but these dervishes, I mean, with their Fire Blood invincible, I mean, unbreakable passive, they should be able to finish out that Hellblaster, so that is a bit of a tragedy for the Empire. Empire Knights trying to hold back the Griffin Legion and Winged Lancers. Huntsmen are continuing to fire at the Akshina Ambushers. They're doing decent damage. Armored Cossars are able to kill a lot of Empire State troops. But the Hellblaster Volley Gun is officially offline, and a lot of the Empire State troops are tied up in the backfield. Gelt's saving up probably for another Final Transmutation to go kill the Ice Witch. Nice dodge there from the Swordsman getting away from the Hailstorm. Empire Knights trying to intercept Gossavite Dervishes who are sprinting at these Huntsmen. The other Huntsmen will get taken out, and so far Segos is doing very well on the mobility front, killing off some other Empire Knights. Oof, those Empire Knights are actually pack-trapped. Netted for a bit. Looks like there wasn't a lot of follow-up because there are state troops all over the Akshina Ambushers and stopping them. But I don't know what the state troops are going to do out here. Armored Cossars will beat them, and honestly, Akshina Ambushers will also trade pretty well because they're kind of hybrid-statted. Empire appears to be having a bad time. Balance of power is about 50-50, but I do not see the same game the balance of power does. Because the state troops in the front line are losing, the back line is extremely harassed, and the Akshina Ambushers are still firing in for free. Wesley Bravo, that's fair. Another Hailstorm trying to catch some of the Empire, but Penguin is going to dodge as best he can. An Overcast Final Transmutation onto the Ice Witch of Tempest. If the first one was anything to go by, the second one should kill her outright, but we'll see if it even matters. We will see. Empire's starting to get its shit together in the backline, but there's still so many Kislevites, man. This is a Kislevite horde. She survives with 360 HP as Gelt is even going to dive in for the final killing blow. He lands, but he misses. Ice Witch down to 16 HP. And Gelt should be able to finish her. Should is a pretty key word. Where are the Demigryph Knights? There they are. They're rather healthy. That's where this balance of power is. Demigryph Knights trying to push off Winged Lancers. And Gelt still can't kill that lady with 16 HP. Still can't kill her. He's trying. Alright. Regardless. Demigryph Knights with Halberds, completely surrounded by random-ass cav. We have Winged Lancers, more Winged Lancers, and the Griffin Legions. They are getting attrition down. Empire Knights trying to join in the fun. There's not a lot of fun to be had. The Ice Witch does die, but even with her dead, the balance of power moves significantly towards Kislev, and I do agree the Empire just doesn't have the DPS left. They have mostly blockers, but blockers for what? For nothing. Long Paul DeRee, you're very funny. You're a funny guy. How dare you? How dare you, sir, besmirch CA's good name. Empire has this last little vestige of Cav running around trying to get some kills, but meanwhile the Akshina Ambushers are very healthy and just killing some dudes off. Armored Cossars are killing even more random chaff for the Empire. And I don't know. I think the bounce power should be even worse for the Empire at this point. Empire Knights charging down on the Akshina Ambushers, but they'll just lose. Goodbye. Goodbye, friends. Oh, those Empire Knights got netted right in the middle of Armored Cossars. They're not loving that. They're also getting shot at by pistols and shit. Griffin Legion getting rear charged by Demigryph Knights, and they continue to run away. Oh, Griffin Legion, I'm so glad that you're an amazing, amazing unit. And in this entire game, you've gotten 1/3 of your value back. Fucking hate Griffin Legion. Final trans on 2 different Akshina Ambushers, trying to get a little bit of damage out. There's nothing here, though. There's nothing you could do, Gelt, as he just gets his ass handed to him in melee against the Ambushers. 36-41 for melee stats versus his 34-38. That's not going to do it. That is GG. Good game. Very good game. Winged Lancers did okay. Griffin Legion did shit, as per usual. Akshina Ambushers did alright. Armored Cossars, work of the gods, killing all those random Empire State troops. Gossavite Dervishes did fine. The other side for Gelt. Gelt did good. He did good. Demigryph Knights did okay. Empire Knights did okay. The Hellblaster Volley Gun just got shut down really early, which is a problem. And then this build had a lot of state troops from Penguin. But the problem is that, like, Action Ambushers also beat state troops in melee, so the state troops couldn't find anything that they could do. The Huntsman got run down by the Cav very quickly. So Kislev did a good job isolating anything that was a danger to them, killing it off, and then just grinding out through the late game. And with that, that is the first of our top 4. So in the live stream that will be coming, Segos and Kislev will be there in the top 4. But who will join them between the Beastmen and the Dwarves? Will it be RTK's Nurgle's PA or ODM's Razel? This is the last fight for the day. Yes, this is correct. Boom. Where's all the Kislev value? Non-existent. Ugh. Gelt and Volkmar meta, in my opinion. Boris and Karl are way too easy to kill. Lies and slander. I think a lot of the Empire Lords are actually pretty fine. I like Gelt, Boris, and Karl. I actually think Volkmar's bad, but any of the other 3 I think are all fine. Alright, Beastmen versus Dwarves. For the Beastmen, we do have one Tuskor Chariot, 4 Chaos Warhounds, some with poison, some without. Looks like 4 Harpies? 3 Harpies? 3 Harpies. Bestigors, 3 of those lads. 4? Yes. 4 of them, some Mongol Raiders, 1 Blackhorn's Ravagers. We do have a Braciaman of Beast with a Manticore summon only, and Torok's Breastbolt. On the side of the Dwarves, we do have the new Hero Hammer, Thoric Ironbrow, and Double Thane. Then we have a front line of Miners of Blasting Charges, 5 Slayers, one of which is the Dragonback Slayers, and then 3 Bugman's Rangers, Thoric Ironbrow. Torox dives into the blasting charges, and they use all of their blasting charges on him, doing almost no damage, and he gets away. So that the ammo he got off of them is honestly more valuable than the rest. Slayers are trying to chase him out, but getting rear charged by dogs. Dogs should do decent damage to Slayers, considering how like expensive and good Slayers are. It's a great trade for dogs. And now Harpies are also harassing the Bugman's Rangers. More Harpies going to disrupt these blasting charges, trying to save the Bestigors a little bit of damage. The Bestigors are heavily armored enough the blasting charges won't completely shit on their day. It's still annoying. You still don't want to get blasting charged. Yeah, doesn't do a ton of damage, but if you can dodge it, might as well. Blackhorn's Ravager's taking a bit of damage from the blasting charges, and we are into the thick of the fighting. There is the Rune of Doom on to everybody, giving them all impressive melee stats. 48 melee attack for these Bugman's Rangers. Though it looks like they have guard mode on, they're just focusing on shooting at stuff, so they're not even fighting back against the Harpies. More dogs rejoining the fight. Those Slayers are plenty capable of taking care of those Harpies, and they'll fight back against the dogs. Once again, it's a great trade for the dogs. The Slayers will win it, but like the dogs are happy to get that kind of value in melee. It's not something they're used to. Dwarves are ahead on the balance of power for now. Tuskor Chariot's trying to jump in and out, and these Ungor Raiders probably need to be shooting at Slayers. Looks like for now they're shooting at Miners or Slayers. It's hard to tell what they're shooting at, but Slayers are a great target for them. And the Bestigors are here. I'm a little concerned about the Dwarves' ability to kill these Bestigors, because their Slayers are not armor-piercing. Miners with blasting charges are getting killed off pretty quickly, and the Bestigors, unironically, the Bestigors could carry this, he said for the first time in his life. Where's the beast box? Disappointed? Uh-huh. Alright, Feral Manticore is summoned. Thoric is in the middle of fucking nowhere. And he's going to get a nice Rune of Wrath and Rune on these Ungor Raiders. It'll do really nice damage, but I would not be shocked if this Manticore and Torox somehow found their way over to Thoric, because he is very isolated right now, and that is just fresh fish. Bugman's Rangers starting to rout. Slayers, of course, will never rout, but they are taking a lot of damage as Bestigors continue to pile into this back line to join the dogs and join everything and beating up on the poor little dwarves. Thoric has not been noticed. Slowly just wandering through the trees. Bestigors killing off some Slayers. More Slayers and Thanes wandering out to deal with Ungor Raiders. And then, I mean, they'll kill them, but I'm struggling to see how the dwarves are going to pull this back. I'm struggling. There's too many Bestigors. Archers are going to fire at the Slayers. Again, taxing them down. How are our Slayers doing? Very damaged, very damaged, very damaged. Almost dead and almost dead. How are the Thanes? We have 1 full health, I can see, 2 full health, and Thoric. Alright, so Hero Hammer is still very healthy. But so are your Bestigors. So is Torox. I mean, there's like a half health Bestigor right there. We still have a second Manticore summon, though, don't we? As long as the Beastcaster stays away from Thoric when he casts it, it'll be fine. Another half health-ish Bestigor. I'm not afraid of you, Bestigor! Fucking Kerillian. I hate Kerillion's character, but I do love playing Kerillion. I like the Homing Arrows class. It's super fun. It's super fun for me because I'm bad at the game, and I play with my friends who are actually good at the game. They're not amazing, but they are good. So then I can use the Homing Arrows and like snipe specials that I would very easily miss. Like an assassin is flying through the air and my homing missiles just take him out. I'm like, I did that. I'm the baddest ass piece of shit you've ever met. My friends are like, nice homing arrows, Jag. Anyway. What we're talking about? Oh yeah, Dead Slayers. Dead Slayers really comes down to just Hero Hammer. And there are way too many Bestigors and Torox for Hero Hammer to prevail. Nice Rune of Wrath and Ruin, gonna hit 2 Bestigors at once. Doesn't have incredible armor piercing though, so they largely just tank through it. 11 Slayers left total on the battlefield. Still getting whittled away a bit, and Torox is trying to finish off one of the Thanes. The other Thane is fighting it out for now. He is surrounded. Slayer counts down to 5. Down to 2. 1. 0. You play default Kerillion? I was, yeah. I'm not very good at Shade. Or her, like, High Elf variant. Dude, I'm not very good at Vermintide. I enjoy it, but I'm not very good at it. I also play Ironbreaker. If we're playing a very hard difficulty, I usually play Ironbreaker and then tank for the team. I scrolled over the values. I didn't always announce them. Dwarves just had a tough go. Like, this build was not ready for 4 Bestigors at all. They couldn't deal with it. And the Bestigors got pretty good value to compensate, so. GG's. GG's. I'll take you over to the Photoshop so I don't spoil any of the right half matchups. Wait, make sure I'm getting rid of the correct one. Alright. So, our top 4, which will be live. We have 2 of our top 4. Beastmen and Kislev. We'll be going at it whenever we can schedule where that is. I will save this. And then click this. Yes, do that. So the game we are waiting on is right here. Once that game is completed, the right side will be able to be cast. I don't know when I'll have time to cast it. It might honestly be next week. I don't know. But everything besides that matchup is done as of right now. So, yahar. Right-hand stream will come eventually. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. Let's see what factions are dead. Hold on. What factions are out of contention entirely? Because some of them have duplicates. Khorne doesn't have a duplicate. Ogres don't have a duplicate. Norsca doesn't have a duplicate. Kislev's still in it. Nurgle doesn't have a duplicate. Skaven do have a duplicate, so they're still in. Chaos Dwarves don't have a duplicate. Empire has a duplicate. Demons of Chaos, somehow, has a duplicate, so they're still fine. Beastmen are still in it. Warriors of Chaos, no dupe. Greenskins, they have a dupe. Dark Elves are out. VP have a dupe. Grand Cathay do not. Dwarves have a dupe. Alright, so we have eliminated Cathay, Dark Elves, Warriors of Chaos, Chaos Dwarves, Nurgle, Norsca, Ogres, and Khorne from contention to be the best faction in the entire game. And that's what I got. That's all it is. Have you played Dark Tide any? I have. It's all right. It's not bad. It's just not as much my thing. I am much more of a fantasy guy than I am a space guy. But it's fine. Like, it's still a good game. I know some people have complaints of it, but I don't play any of those games enough to know the nuances of what's like. Some people are like, man, a ton of shit's missing and stuff sucks. I'm like, I don't know. Gun shoots, gun goes pew pew. Hordes show up. Without revealing anything, who's holding up the right half? I already circled it, but I couldn't tell you who. Ogres got 2 players? Oh, they do! Top right! I missed that. I thought they only had 1. Alright, Ogres are still in it. Ogres are still in it. Hazel's here. Hazel's a good pup. Hello, good pup. Alright, I'm gonna go be sick somewhere else.